Hi there. You're watching Pop Culture Warrior. This is the way.
Do you want this full-size Avengers movie poster signed?
Hi there, it's your second favorite DP right here, okay? No, that's Deadpool, you silly little Hufflepuff. Anyways, I'm gonna need you to shut up that pretty little mouth of yours and pay attention because the show's about to start, alright? And, I don't know about you, but I know who's my vote for sexiest ex-soldier turned pop culture show host. Alright, enough foreplay, let's get on with the show.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is W.T.F. Nation Radio.
everybody. Welcome, one and all. Today is June 4th, 2024. This is episode 172 of Pop Culture Warrior. It's the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I'm CQ. I'm your Pop Culture Warrior. And joining me tonight is not Mad Mike. Mad Mike's he's on a sabbatical. He's finding himself. He's on a retreat. He's on a spiritual journey, finding himself. But, ladies and gentlemen, our man in the bubble tonight, he is the OG Kid Alt himself. It is Angry Elf, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello there. How's things?
How's things, man? How's things? How you doing, bud? It's been a minute.
Good. Hey, I got to do a finger check. You were playing with sharks this week. Oh, you still got them all. You still got all 9. Good. Good boy.
I should have came in like, yeah, they match now. I got a matching set. Yeah, man. This weekend was pretty wild. For those that don't follow us on social media, I was off the coast of New Jersey, the Jersey Shore, and I was about like, it was like 40 or 50 miles off the coast and doing some shark fishing. We the day started out pretty slow. We caught a couple fish, sea bass and things like that, and then but like right around, I think it was like noonish, man. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden we started getting some hits, man, and it was we started getting some mako, some hammerhead. It was pretty dope. It was actually pretty dope, man. It was wild to I've never done anything like that, so that was pretty exciting.
You obviously didn't need a bigger boat, right?
Dude, two of them were big enough that like we didn't even bother bringing them on board. We're just like, that was a good catch, and then we just clipped and let them go. But I had a picture with one that was like I don't know if they call it like a sand shark or something like that, but it was small enough that I could manhandle it. I always said I've always wanted to punch a shark in the face, and I didn't say it needed to be a fair fight. So it was a good time. It was a good time. For those just tuning in, tonight we have one of the coolest motherfuckers in the pop culture realm joining us. We've got Greg Grunberg. Truth be told, it's not a live interview. We pre-recorded it. But because of that fact, I can tell you it is easily top 3 interview I've ever done on this show. He is so phenomenal. He is so funny, so witty, so honest, so humble. Everything you could, think about it. This guy's been in Heroes. He's been in Star Trek. He's been in Star Wars. He's been in Felicity, Lost. What else? Alias, Hollow Man. Like the list goes on and on. This guy's been in so much shit. He is touched just about. I think he's been in every like pop culture franchise short of like Harry Potter and like Lord of the Rings, maybe. But phenomenal dude, so knowledgeable, such a great guy. Our conversation, like I said, is one of the best conversations I've had, and we really hit it off, man. And I think you'll see in the video, in the package, I think you'll see kind of like a budding friendship, man, like a bromance. Like a bromance. You're gonna see a bromance live. Watch the interview, and try to pinpoint when I fall in love with him. Try to pinpoint exactly when the little heart bubbles start floating up, and like I get like the little anime eyes, the little anime blink blink blink. But he's a great dude, absolutely great dude, and I really enjoyed our conversation. And yeah, man, he's one for the records. I'm excited because I'm gonna meet him face to face. There's a convention coming up called Shore Leave. As a Trekkie, you'd be aware of Shore Leave. You might have been once or twice.
Yeah, once with a certain individual. I don't know
Once.
who.
Once as a special guest.
Yeah.
But Shore Leave's coming up. It's in a new location. It's not in Maryland anymore. Now it's in Pennsylvania.
Where?
It's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
So
no kidding.
yeah. So he's gonna be there, and we're gonna be there. And so we've already got plans to like link up, grab lunch, and just hang out. So cool dude, man. Cool dude. I don't want to spoil it. The interview is so good. I don't want to spoil it. Real quick, hey everybody in the chats. I haven't been ignoring you. I'm just super hyped for this interview. Renita, hi, Airborne. Is it Typical Connor? Peter, what's up, Pete? Nemo was his name-o. Yes, he's out there. Yeah, man, lot of Keith. What's up, buddy? Lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff. We are now entering the month where we are hitting our stride for the year. Sujay, hopefully I'm pronouncing it. What's up? Every episode for the next 2 months has a guest.
Nice.
So we are going to be like, if I am on, we have a guest. I think I'm taking off July, like the July 4th episode, not because it's July 4th, but because I'm fucking going on vacation, man. I'm gonna be in Turks and I'm gonna be up on the beach. Actually, I'm gonna be under the beach. I'm gonna be scuba diving. So I'm gonna be in the water scuba diving. Yep, that's gonna be me.
You better watch out for those sharks that you caught to come back and get their revenge.
they're coming for me. So yeah, let's see what else before we get into the main shit of the show. Oh, I was telling you this before we went live.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some changes. Very subtle from you, the viewer's perspective. Very subtle changes, very slight changes. From my side of things, it's massive. It's huge. It's a huge change. It's the greatest change that's ever been had. It's phenomenal. It's the only change that matters is my change, and it's massive, it's huge. So for those that have ever seen my streaming setup, I've got 2 monitors, I've got a little prompter, whatever. I'm going ham, bro. I'm going ham. All new desk.
Ooh.
4 monitors.
What?
Prompter. New lights. And like I said, a new desk. And it's going to be a desk that is one of those transitioning desks. So like
So
I
you
can
can
be
stand up?
seated or I can stand up. So I'll be able to like do an episode stand up and then like really be animated and like running around and shit. Which is
You're
also
gonna have to wear pants then.
I'm gonna have to wear pants. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start wearing pants. And then it's also going to play into eventually I want to do a multi-angle. So there'll be like a side camera. Like you ever watch like The Daily Show and he'll do like the turn and address another camera? We're gonna have that. We're gonna have that. Maybe with a green screen. Like I could like, do weatherman style, like walk up to the green screen, other camera. Yeah, dude, I'm going big. I'm all in. I'm all in. And for those that know too, we're doing the Friday night tabletop exercise, FTX. And there's some things I haven't announced yet for that. That's going to be next level. That's going to be like, the difference is going to be like Pop Culture Warrior day 1 to Pop Culture Warrior now is what's going to happen with the FTX brand and what we have. That will be, it's exciting. I want to say more, but this is something that's going to take time and there's a lot.
Are you basically going to create a second studio for FTX? Yeah, I know you.
You won't see any of this. We'll just say that. We'll just put it that way. All this will be different for that show. That there's a different angle we're going with. That's all I'm going to say for that.
Nice.
Let's see. Patreon subscriptions must be up. Okay, we're gonna highlight that one because that's just funny.
Yep. No, they are. It's he keeps doing all these phenomenal giveaways, and everybody just wants in, right?
Yes. And he says, I bet he's not even wearing pants right now. Technically, I'm not wearing pants. I'm not. technically, I'm wearing shorts. So there you go. You're half right. What else? Oh, speaking of giveaways, I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh yeah.
I am in the final negotiations, the final talks with a certain company that would like to sponsor some giveaways for Pop Culture Warrior. Some really good giveaways. Some giveaways that will be authenticated autographs on things like movie posters, scripts, screen used props.
Oh
yeah. So we're in the final talk. We're just getting the details in line. We'll just say details to be announced soon. Follow us. There'll definitely be, one giveaway, 2 giveaways here. And then obviously, as always, the Patreons are going to get special love. And there might be like a Patreon exclusive giveaway as well. Yeah. Yes. Joshua, what's the topic tonight? Did you pull up sponsorship from Cafe Risque? That's funny. What's the topic today? You know what? You're right. Let's get into it.
Yep.
First topic we have is, so yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? Yesterday.
It was yesterday.
They released the first trailer for Venom, dumbest title in the world, The Last Dance.
The Last Dance.
So I need to talk about it. So first, for those at home that haven't seen it, I'm going to go ahead and play the Venom trailer, and then we're gonna do something we've never done here on the show before. So for all you watching live, this is gonna be a first ever. But first, let's watch the trailer.
Eddie, my home has found us.
You should probably know that I have a really dark and unpredictable side to me. Stop speaking. I'm giving you a chance, sweetie.
Say when.
When? What are you? We are.
We're Venom!
We are.
Venom!
No.
Oh!
Yeah, we
are
Venom. We're gonna need to work on that.
Delicious! You take me to all the finest places.
I need a time out.
We always knew it was impossible. That we were alone in the universe. And it's our job to make sure that remains a secret.
Let's go get him.
Oh, shit! We are fugitives. On the run. In the shit.
We are living the dream, my friend.
You mean it?
No! Any promises, chance?
Hello?
There has to be a reason they're after us.
Eddie, my home, has found us. Jesus Christ!
There's an army coming that cannot be beaten.
As long as Venom lives, everyone, everything will end.
We may not make it out of this alive, buddy.
Eddie, the time has come.
fast do you think you can get that thing to go without killing it?
Only one way to find out.
Sorry, I cut it off early. I just couldn't. I just couldn't finish fucking My Little Venom Pony. All right. So I teased it up a little bit, but we're gonna do something here that we've never done before, and it's. I mean, I don't
Talk
know
good
what-
about a Sony project.
No, not that. Never that. King said, "Eddie." All right. You cut off the best part, you sourpuss. All right, here, look. This is what we're gonna do. Ladies and gentlemen, watch this. We're gonna do a live trailer breakdown. I'm gonna lower the volume so it's not over me. But we'll see. So first off, I want to point out. There we go. There it is. Trailer opens up, and for those who haven't been paying attention, at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, we saw Eddie Brock be in the Marvel MCU universe and then kind of sucked out of the MCU universe, and he leaves behind a little drop of the symbiote and whatever it moves, and people are like, oh shit, Venom's in the Marvel universe now. But this is what he was wearing at the end of that scene. So it seems to me as if that's where this movie will pick up. Him getting back to his universe, supposedly. So let's keep it going. Now, I do want to say, I kind of like the opening of the trailer, right? Because I felt like, you get a little bit of the Venom character and, the badassery and the, oh, I'm a tough, whatever. And I can, kick a lot of ass, which we see him, be all tough. And then like, I'm going to let you, and then he's going to whoop up on them. Cause it's easy to pick on people without superpowers, or any kind of military training. First thought, as you're watching the action here, is that they've obviously working in tandem, right? This is movie number 3, and they're clicking on yes, it's the We Are Venom was funny but went too long. Agreed. So that was my next point, was that the idea here is we just saw them fighting, and they're like fighting in unison, and obviously we're a pair now. But the gag here is that they're still not in rhythm, right? Because they can't finish each other's sandwiches. And so, but I feel like that's been done in other movies. The We Are Venom thing's been done. So I feel like, again, from a narrative, from a story point, your character's regressing, right? Instead of we're getting better, we're getting worse. So unless that's some really subtle foreshadowing of like, we're unraveling, we're coming apart, we're not on the same page, it really is just a gag for the sake of a gag. And I don't think that's the other thing. I just got to say, these Venom movies have had way too much comedy. Way too much comedy.
Yep.
It's okay to have a funny moment here and there, but it's like, it reminds me of like Beverly Hills Cop. It's very
buddy cop type stuff.
Cop, silly. And that's not Venom. That's not the relationship between Eddie and Venom. That's not, we've already talked about this to death about how they've bastardized that relationship, and they made Eddie a pathetic piece of shit, and they made the Venom symbiote basically a nerd. Like, he's a geek in his own universe. He's like, he's one of the bitches in his own universe. He
says it himself in the first movie. I'm a loser.
Wasn't he confused on how he got to the beach at the end of the last movie? Yeah, exactly. He had no idea. Like, you have to go back to the end of Venom 2. Like, they went to the beach to just unwind, and they were like in Mexico, whatever. And then the post-credit scene is he gets zapped away. So that's him getting into the MCU. But then in that scene, we're just at another Mexican beach resort, and he gets zapped back. So it was really a waste of anything.
Well, exactly. That was my first thought. Like, that was a waste. That was a waste of a cameo in No Way Home.
Waste of a tease. Yep.
Yeah, and okay, great. You know, whatever. Supposedly, Spider-Man 4 is supposed to have the Venom symbiote in some way, shape, or form. So
we're getting there. We're getting there. So let's play a little more. So they do the gag that takes way too long of the "We Are Venom" gag, and it's like, okay, yeah. And then we finally get to the killy part of, you know, like what Venom does, just eat heads. Okay, fine. We talk. There's your biggest problem, right there.
Yeah,
That's your biggest problem right there. But not much we can do about that. So now we get introduced to what is going to be probably, you know, the antagonists of the researchers, right? Because it's always about, we want to capture and study. Obviously, they have multiples of Venom things that are you know, captured and whatever. Now here
is Baron Morgul.
It just okay. What we have here, first of all, is the actor who played Baron Mordor, Mordor,
Right?
Yes, Mordo. I think it was Mordo.
Mordo. Whatever.
Baron Mordo.
He was in Doctor Strange 1 and 2.
So here is an actor already portraying an MCU character. Now, you can say he's from the Sony universe, he's from the Venomverse, he could be whatever. Okay, cool. Sure. Except this scene takes place in the MCU. This is from the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. That's the bar. He was the bartender, and that was the little drop of ooze that was left behind. This is it's so upsetting because it's just like a big FU to the audience and to the people that enjoy this stuff, right? Because the end of Venom 2, you tease he's going into the MCU. Okay, people get hyped. And then in Spider-Man, you boot him back and you're like, all right, we're pissed off. But hey, he left a bit of symbiote, so we've got that. To then come back to this one and be like, nope, zap, we're going to take that. However, they're doing the whole multiverse shenanigans because now apparently the military can just hop universes. Like it's the whole point of Multiverse of Madness was how difficult and hard and crazy multiversal travel is, and now everybody can fucking do it. But go ahead.
Well, you got Baron Mordor working for the military, and maybe he jumped to the MCU using his Doctor Strange sorceress powers to capture that symbiote, and then came back to his own universe. Maybe that's the Baron Mordor of that universe. I don't know. I don't know. It's Sony. It wouldn't put. I wouldn't put it past them.
No, Sony's not allowed to use Marvel MCU characters.
Well, they can't name them by name, but you know, it could be, you know, an allude.
I used to be a magician before I became a soldier.
Yeah, exactly. he does a couple card tricks before the scene, and then, you know, there's a bright flash.
So okay, obviously, you know, they're hunting Eddie. Like, that's the whole thing. They're trying to capture the guy. Faceless soldiers, yada yada, action movie, gotta have some type of action, fighty, bitey, whatever. The other issue, real quick, I just have with this, again, Venom he's such a bitch. Like, in the comics, in the cartoons, he was a scary, intimidating.
Yeah.
I mean, he was an asshole for sure, but he wasn't this whiny crybaby. Like,
no.
It's annoying. It's annoying more than anything. And let me say something. Huge Venom fan. Huge Venom back well before these movies. This isn't Venom.
Oh,
and then the whole, you get to see Miss Chen in the middle, and then there's a dance sequence. Like, there's gonna be a dance sequence in a Venom movie? Really? really Sony, because that went so well when Spider-Man had his little dance sequence fucking 20 years ago. That went over so well. So they're like, you know what we'll do? We'll bring that back. Let's run it back. You know, he'll do a little this.
Yeah.
You know, like, Jesus Christ. It's Morbin time. Yes. Now, there's you know, in fact,
there's problems in this scene too.
I'm gonna rewind that just because we've got all types of nope, not that scene. I'm getting used to this. This is the first time I'm doing this. Hang on with me. Okay. Damn it, I can't catch it. There we go. No, there. What's his name? I forget his name. Was he? No, he's not a Baldwin. He's fuck if I remember his name. Anyway, it's pretty much confirmed he's going to be playing Toxin in the movie, which is another symbiote offshoot, right? Because you had like Shriek and you had Carnage and you had Venom and you had all these other ones. So he's going to be playing Toxin, which is another symbiote, which again, too much. Wahlberg, that's it is. Thank you, Nemo. He's a Wahlberg. He's a Wahlberg. He's a Berg.
Oh, he's the Wahlberg? Wait.
He's one of the Wahlbergs. One of the lesser known Wahlbergs. Anyway, point is, he's playing Toxin, which again, another classic offshoot of the symbiotes that they're gonna fuck up royally because it's
Sony.
You're doing too much. It's an action comedy, sci-fi, alien, buddy cop, romance, mystery, where you know you have 16 different bad guys, multiversal hopping, the military's involved. It's too much. It's too much. Okay, we'll continue. And then this.
Yep.
This,
there he is.
This is gonna upset me the most, and him, and most importantly, just the wholeness of it, because for the leaks, the rumblings on the internet, is that in this movie, on top of everything else I've already said, right, and we're gonna see there's more hints about his planets coming to fight and all this and all that, that there's expectedly, or rumor is, there's a through line in which now that Venom went into the other universe and was made aware, his symbiote consciousness was made aware of Spider-Man and the fact that he's Peter Parker and all that, that when he comes back to this universe, he somehow wants to like find Peter Parker and kill him, absorb him, whatever. And so the big rumor is that, like, the back of that kid's head right there, that's going to be little Peter Parker, that he's going to be 10 years old in this universe. It's before he's Spider-Man. So again, now we're getting Venom before Spider-Man, which makes no sense because in the Morbius movies, which are supposed to be in line with these, we've seen pictures of Spider-Man in full regalia in the background and things like that. So it's none of this make any sense. And so if that is in fact Peter Parker, I call just the biggest shenanigans, first of all. And then you've got this guy who, again, is unnamed. But that's, what's his name? Ray Fiennes? Ray Fiennes? Is that Ralph Fiennes?
No, it's not. No, you're talking about the actor that played
the Lizard. Yeah.
It is Rhys Ifans.
Rhys Ifans, whatever his name is.
His name, but it's the actor who played the Lizard in
that's the actor that played this Lizard in The Amazing Spider-Man 1. He was Kirk Connors and then became the Lizard. Now, it's not Ralph Fiennes. I don't know. I forget his name.
Whatever.
But you get what I'm saying. So, okay. So already you've got a not Spider-Man Venom movie that has not Baron Mordo in it. And now you have not Kurt Connors in it with, better fucking not be goddamn Peter Parker. I swear to God. Let's keep going. Because it just, and then you get these alien things, right? Because he's got to fight alien things. Because that's it's not enough that he's fighting the military, another symbiote, and all these. And now we have fucking Apocalypse. I mean, not Armageddon over here, and then this again. They make Venom such a bitch. He's such a bitch. He sees this and he's like, oh no, like, oh Jesus, like Venom's, you're supposed to scare people.
Yep.
You're not supposed to be scared. Oh my God. He's like, oh, what the fuck? You know, like, did you?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't remember Venom being such a bitch. I don't remember, you know.
It just,
Well,
my brain.
well, it's like Sony for the last almost decade can't get Venom right, even in the new video game, Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Eddie Brock was nowhere around.
Yeah. And then here's the other thing. They're really billing this. Like, you can see the amount of energy that they're putting into, like, the last dance. Like, this is it. This is the epic conclusion to the Venom side. Like, they're billing this shit like it's fucking Endgame. And like, 1 was okay. 2 was a hot steaming pile of garbage.
Yeah.
And now they're like, this is it, people. Buckle up. It's the last dance. Like, who the fucking God? Thank God. Good riddance. Good riddance. And then this. I get some people are like, whoa, Venom horse.
Should have been a T-Rex. I would have accepted if they found an anatomic T-Rex and they put the symbiote over it and it, you know, was from Old Man Logan and he ran around like that. At least it would be plausible. And something from the comics.
I just we're saying the stream is down. Is the stream down? Stream can't be down.
Where? Where?
I don't know. Somebody texted me saying the stream's down. I see it live. If you can't see me, let me know. If you're not seeing this, let me know. Could have been a little bit more clear. Where is it down? Because
nope, you're good on.
Yeah,
you're good on.
Facebook's good. I mean, I don't know. You know, some people like just because your internet drops out, don't text me that. Like,
I know where the stream's down.
Where is it?
It's unavailable on the YouTubes.
Switch
over to Facebook.
Yeah, if you're looking on YouTube, switch off and I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I probably got some copyright strike or something.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. There was a banner.
Got blocked. It's fine. It's clipped YouTube probably because of the trailer. Yeah.
Yep.
It's fine.
Stream suspended for policy violations.
Oh, man. It's policy violation. It's a public trailer, for God's sakes. I'm not streaming the movie. They just don't like that I'm talking shit about them. That's the problem. That's what it is. They're like, we're not gonna let you talk shit about us. Whatever. Fine.
Sony's getting butthurt.
We'll just cut that out, and we're just not gonna. Whatever. I don't care. It's all good. Sony don't play. That's their problem. I don't care.
Yep.
We've given them enough marketing anyway. But long and short of it is, it's gonna be stupid. It's gonna be bad.
Yep.
It's a trilogy that should have stopped at 1. I saw nothing redeeming in this trailer. I literally did.
It should have stopped at the end of Spider-Man 3.
Before that.
True.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on. A couple of other news. God, I'm all riled up about this fucking Venom thing. I'm so riled up about it. Anyway, onto something that has at least a little bit of chance of being decent. Captain America: Brave New World. It's in its reshoots. It's in its reshoots, and the latest news that came out of that, you know, and people want to, you want to knock the reshoots because you're like, oh, it tested terribly, so they got to reshoot the movie. Very plausible. That's a very plausible explanation. Or, they're moving things around. They want to try different things. All I know is they're doing 22 days of reshoots. And one of the things that have been added, somebody who's been hinted at for quite a while, Giancarlo Esposito, will now be in the movie as unnamed villain for the moment. There's speculation about who he's gonna play. Obviously, a lot of people they were like fan casting him as Professor X in like a race swap Professor X for X-Men.
But he said that he didn't want to do Professor X because he wasn't going to ride around in the wheelchair.
He's like, fuck that wheelchair, I ain't doing it.
Exactly.
So what's interesting is like it's not like he could hide it. There's pictures of him on the set in costume. But he basically said, yep, I'm in the MCU now. And he had a very interesting quote. Let's see if I can find it. It was, he says he revealed earlier this month that he was joining the MCU. It's official for Cap 4. According to the Hollywood Reporter, he's joining Captain America. Blah, blah. Reshoots are expected to last 22 days. His role's not confirmed, but sources are saying he's playing a villainous role. And they added that there will be some action sequences that he's going to be part of, right? We saw him. He has like knives and guns and shit.
Yeah.
He looks very much like, I'm trying to think what's the closest thing he looks like.
I don't know. I've seen the photos. I don't know.
I'm wondering if they're gonna go for an original take or like an interesting spin on a classic character, like a different take on him. He did come out and say, the MCU has knocked on my door, and I'm playing a role you won't predict. Those are his words. I'm playing a role you won't predict. It will be teased, so he's gonna have a small tease role. And he says, this is his own words. He says, it's going to be teased. There will be a series afterwards. So whatever, you got to think, you're bringing in Giancarlo Esposito. It's not for a throwaway scene. You know what I mean? Like you're bringing him in because he's going to be a big time player in the franchise going forward. It worked in Star Wars. It worked in Breaking Bad. It worked in all the other things that he's been a part of, The Boys. So they're gonna roll the dice in the Marvel universe. I wonder, I'm trying to think, who could be a villainous role that would be teased here that would then be in a series afterwards? I've been scratching my head over this. If you guys have any thoughts, hey, Travis, what's going on, bud? If you guys have any thoughts of who he could be, a Kang variant? No, I don't think so.
No, don't.
I don't think so. I don't think that's what it is.
And I don't think he would have the knives and stuff. He was a Kane variant.
Oh, no. Well, what if it'd be a random thing? But I'm thinking with the knives and the guns, that puts me in the realm of like Blade. I mean, I know he's not playing Blade. But if he's like the Wesker of the Blade universe, right? Like the Blade's mentor, and
you talking about Whistler?
What Whistler? Whistler's fucking Resident Evil, right?
No.
Whistler.
No, Whistler was the he was the mentor for Blade, but that was made up for the Wesley Snipes movies to bring in I'm drawing a blank on that character's name.
He had an old mentor. Like he had a
that was introduced for the movies and then eventually brought into the Marvel comics. Prior to the 1990s Blade movies with Wesley Snipes, Whistler didn't exist.
I'm gonna believe you. I'm gonna choose to believe you, but I'm gonna verify this later because I feel like he predates those movies, but could be wrong. I admittedly not the biggest in Blade lore, but either way, he could be
Chris Christopherson, the Chris Christopherson character.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. Hold on, continue to talk. I'll do the man in the chair thing.
You're the guy in the chair. Yes, Whistler was made for the movies. That's what Nemo says. You're right.
Yep.
And Wesker is Resident Evil. Yes, that's what I said. So that's what I was trying to tell you this whole time.
Yes.
Either way, I could see a world in that, because think about it, you already have Captain America Brave New World. We already know there's going to be a Red Hulk. We already know that Samuel Stearns, the leader, is going to be in it. We already know that we have Captain America and we have the new Falcon. We already know we have like 2 unnamed female super suit wearing characters. Now you have Giancarlo Esposito's character. You have Thunderbolt Ross. Like, I'm trying to think, how do you tie all this together? Like, they need to release a trailer, for God's sakes.
I think they've got. I mean, at this point, I've heard that they have filmed 2 movies worth of stuff between the original shoot, the reshoot, for the first time they're reshooting this reshoot. At this point, they just need to stop, see how much footage they have, and go, you know what? We got enough footage now. We can do a Disney Plus series, and then we just do your Disney magic and make a series.
Yeah, I don't know.
Make a 10-episode series so Mad Mike stops complaining that it only has 8 episodes.
Give him 9 episodes just so he can stop complaining there's 8. So right now, Captain America Brave New World is scheduled to release February 14, 2025. So let's see, 6 months before that puts us at what? September?
Would be September. I would say they need to release a trailer before that.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I mean, honestly,
August.
They need to release that trailer. It needs to be tagged with Deadpool. Wolverine.
Yeah, July 26th. Yeah. You got to, especially bringing Deadpool into the MCU. You got to take advantage of that and plug in the, which apparently they were trying to. The reports where they were trying to shove in fucking She-Hulk into this movie, into the Deadpool movie, and that was going to be a lead into Captain America Brave New World, since there's a lot of Hulk characters there, but that Ryan Reynolds wasn't having that shit. He said no. So that would be a great lead in to have a trailer for Captain America. They have to. It gives you 7 months to really drum up buzz about the movie.
The only other place they could probably put that Captain America trailer would be, I think Alien Romulus releases in August or early September. They could tag it with that, since that's by default, it's a Disney movie. I mean, granted, it's a remnant of a Fox movie, but it's a Disney property now. That's the only other place. Otherwise, they're just gonna have to drop it randomly.
Check this out. We have confirmation that in the comics, in the original books, Blade was trained by Jamal. Bless me. Jamal Afari. Afari, and they're saying I could see like a flashback of some kind with Isaiah Bradley, where we see a young Eric Brooks Blade, and Giancarlo being the one training him. I mean, it could work. It could line up, because we do know from set photos that they're Isaiah Bradley and the original fucking Captain America, the Black Captain America, are going to be in this movie as well. So like there's ties to that story as well. So I mean, I
don't know if he's going to have a series. They're saying he's going to have a series
tie into the Blade. And remember, they've been retooling that Blade, thing a million ways to Sunday. Maybe they've decided to go with like a series, and they tie it all together. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Or they go the route of the Skrulls again, and it's just the shape-shifting guy who can do whatever and blah 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 blah.
Or maybe it's freaking Nick Fury's disgruntled freaking older brother or something like that.
Oh man. Didn't they do a thing in the comics where so Nick Fury, before Sam Jackson played him, was a white dude.
Yep.
And then in order to align the comic books with the movies, they got rid of white Nick Fury and then brought in black Nick Fury, and he's like, I'm his illegitimate child.
Yeah.
And it was a new black Nick Fury.
Before anybody starts sharpshooting you, yes, Sam Jackson, Nick Fury started off in Ultimate Comics. But when they brought after the MCU kicked off full tilt, yes. And they just sidelined him. They didn't get rid of him. They just sidelined freaking.
They killed off the old white Nick Fury.
No, he's still kicking around, hiding someplace. I think he replaced the Watcher.
Maybe
after Original Sin.
So what if? Here's another idea, and I saw Travis saying I like him. The idea of being Fury's brother. Like, what if he's? I'm trying to think what would be like the opposite of Nick Fury, like almost like an evil Nick Fury. But I guess that's more like the Red Skull kind of,
someone with Hydra or
AIM.
AIM, yeah.
They wouldn't really use. They're more technological than knives and guns.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what.
I've also heard some fan casting say Doctor Doom or some precursor to Doctor Doom, and I'm like, yeah, but they wouldn't have knives, and if he was somebody working with freaking the leader on the side, maybe I could kind of sort of buy off on it. But
I'm thinking, what if it's Nick Fury? He took a de-ager. I don't know. And then we need a fucking trailer. Here's the thing: either give us a fucking synopsis of what the movie is, or give us a trailer. One or the other. Because at this point, it's just I don't feel like they know what the fuck they're making. I don't think they know what movie they're making.
It's obviously not, because they keep, set photos get leaked. I've heard, for a while, was it earlier this year or the end of last year, they were just filming scenes out of a notebook without a script. Just fight scenes, barely barely any choreography. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember Dave Hasselhoff's played Fury. Yep, in the 90s. Yep.
Good old Hasselhoff, the Hoff.
Bring him back. Have him come back as Nick Fury or
my god. No, because he was Ego. You can't bring him back as Fury because he was Ego. Anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy reference. So,
yep.
Shifting gears, one or two more stories before we toss to the interview. Just weeks after Prime Video, which we've said Prime Video has been killing it. Great shows, great adaptations, whether they're from books, comics, video games, movies, whatever. Great adaptations. Just weeks ago, they picked up. We talked about a Tomb Raider series, which I believe, the track record, we're going to follow the track record. History says they're going to knock it out of the park. They're going to do a great job. Well, Prime just announced one that caught me by surprise. They've announced another video game-based series, and this one is coming out this year. When I tell you I could give you 30 guesses and you probably wouldn't get it, according to reporting from Variety, have you ever heard of the series of the Yakuza series? One of Sega's tentpole franchises.
Yeah, was it a ninja game?
More like a it's not a ninja game. It's more like Shinobi or anything like that. It's more of like street gangs.
Oh, yes.
Fighting in the streets kind of thing. So one of the more popular of the games was, because they've done like 20 of these games, the Yakuza series. Yeah. But one of the most popular ones is called Like a Dragon, Yakuza. And it turns out Like a Dragon Yakuza will make its debut on Amazon's streaming platform October 25th, with half the episodes released that day and the other half of the episodes released November 1st. Total of 6 episodes based on the Sega franchise. Like a Dragon Yakuza is being directed by Take Mashahura, who did 100 Yen Love. I don't know what that is. And Takamoto Kengo, who did Kamen Teacher. All those classics that we all love. At this time, just one cast member has been revealed, which is Takeuchi Ryoma.
You need to work on your Japanese.
Ryoma. He will star in the series as the protagonist, Kiryu Kazuma. And he says, I'm truly honored to be given the opportunity to play the role of Kazuma Kiryu, a beloved character in the game series. I strongly felt that I was willing to put my life on the line for this one. Audiences will enjoy the show's human drama and conflict unfolds around the character Kazuma Kiryu. Moreover, please take a look at the intense fighting scenes with the dragon tattoo on his back. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, I mean, adapting one of Sega's biggest games is like, it makes sense, but I wouldn't say it's like when you hear Tomb Raider, you know. You hear Sonic, you know. You hear The Last
Mario
of Us,
Brothers.
the Mario Brothers. Like these are franchises you know. I don't think a lot of people know about the Yakuza franchise. Although it literally is, I think, their top selling game series outside of like Sonic and Persona are the other two. Anyway, so this show will apparently be set in both 1995 and 2005. And those years are relevant for fans of the games. 2005 is the year the first game in the series came out. In the original Yakuza, the character spent 10 years in prison after being wrongfully accused of murder. Following his incarceration, he becomes involved in a mystery involving his longtime friend, Yumi Sawamura, and 10 billion yen that has been mysteriously stolen from the Tojo clan. Knowing that the show will take place in those two time periods, it sounds like the series will attempt to adapt the first game. It's been 19 years since that first game came out, but it has, like I said, become one of Sega's biggest franchises along Sonic and Persona. It's been interesting to see because I feel like with the success of The Last of Us, with the success of things like The Walking Dead, what's the other game one that just came out that was really good? Shit, Fallout. Thank you. With these really good adaptations, I feel like companies are now like scrambling because there was a thing in the old days. There was a gold rush in the old days where these companies were banking on the name. So they're like, I'm going to go buy Ghost in the Shell and I'm going to make a movie or I'm going to make a series. And it wasn't about making something good. It was making something that was in the realm of similar, and you could just bank on the name, like the goddamn Dragon Ball movie. Good Lord, that fucking piece of shit. They're just banking on the name and whatever. But now I feel like these companies are understanding, like, holy shit, if you actually make it good, you will make more money than what you've invested into it. So we're seeing a real rush for these companies to snap up, and I think, like I said, Amazon has got a good track record. I can't knock them. You know, they've been doing a bang up job. So we'll see. We'll see how this one turns out. There's another one. Golden Axe is getting an animated series from Comedy Central. There's a live action version of Streets of Rage that's in development. Like there's a bunch out there, and it's gonna be interesting. There's also a live action Street Fighter that's coming, and I think that one is going in the vein of like that recent live action Mortal Kombat. So I think they're gonna try to make something that is gritty, is grounded, but will appease and make fans happy. Or at least try to appease fans and make them happy. So, can't be worse than the Van Damme version. First of all, you know what? You can knock it all you want. I have a special place in my heart for the Van Damme Street Fighter movie. I mean,
they
campy.
tried. They put a lot of effort in that movie.
It was campy, but they tried. There was no playbook to go off of back then. I mean, for its time, I feel like that was damn good. That was damn good for its time, for its place in the world. One last one I want to talk about, just because, and that was kind of leading into it. A third attempt at a live-action Street Fighter movie, and right now, people are thinking, third attempt? I remember the Jean-Claude Van Damme one, and this is the third. What's the second one? Everybody seems to forget the Chung-Li movie that came out starring Kristen Kirk? That was
from Smallville.
That was not good. That was as bad as the first Star Street Fighter.
I wouldn't have cast her as Chung-Li.
It was all right. Anyway, so at the recent Las Vegas Licensing Expo, that's a thing. Legendary Pictures revealed the first logo for the new Street Fighter movie, which was very iconic. It looks like the Street Fighter logo, like the same one Capcom's been using for fucking decades. A brick background, golden letters, yada yada yada. Street Fighter's return to the big screen comes at a time where we've seen the Hollywood, like I said, Hollywood gold rush for video game adaptations. We've seen the success of Super Mario Brothers, the Sonic movie, the Pokemon. They're looking for the next big thing. So Street Fighter seems like a logical choice, given the fact that, it's been around since what, 1987? Now.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
I will say, the previous attempts were what we would call critical commercial failures, but they got a cult following. I don't know. The Legend of Chung-Li one was man, that was.
But I think that was a little bit of capitalizing off of freaking the popularity of the game, and then also her popularity from Smallville. Because I can't think of anything else that she's been in.
That was the actor who played. The guy that played M. Bison. M. Bison was the guy that played Gomez Adam in the. And that was his last movie. He was dying of like throat cancer or some shit like that.
Something like that. Yeah, he passed away shortly thereafter. Yeah. I remember that. It's
more of Final Fight, which had the characters. So I mean, we'll see. Again, I feel like fighting movies should be easier to make. If you think you're like, oh, we're gonna the central theme of this movie is this tournament and you're gonna fight, and like it seems like I feel like making a Super Mario movie is harder to develop a story around than something that literally revolves around a fighting tournament. But
with both Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, they do have those handful of fantastical characters, like what's his name, the beast, the green and Blanca. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got him. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying, you can ground it, but just.
Yeah. I mean, but I would say the Mortal Kombat movie that just came out was rather grounded, considering they had fire demons and all types of, Goro and all that. Like, it can feel grounded. It can feel gritty without actually making it lame. But anyway, all right, enough talking. I am so excited for this next thing. I am really, truly so excited. So, I wonder if we should take a break or if we should just roll right into it. Let me prep. We're gonna take like a 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll air for you my phenomenal, incredible, amazing, mind-blowing conversation. I don't even want to say interview, just conversation with the incredible Greg Grunberg. Angry Elf, you wanna say anything before we toss the break?
A pop culture no prize if you can figure out the exact moment that CQ falls in love. I'm talking timestamp. I want to know the minute and the second.
We want screenshots, hashtags, timestamps,
and you'll get a certified no prize from CQ.
Yes, absolutely. That is the CQ guarantee. All right, guys, we'll be back after a short break. and a word from your sponsors. Shots.
Yeah.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, right? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, what do you think because the show is going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
After all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me told you everything, I bet you cry and run away. 'Cause with all the lies I keep, made you believe this was me. The truth is I am not at all who I preach myself to be. And I deserve to be alone, and I'm alone here with me. Told you everything, I wonder if you would believe that with all the ways you've tried, I couldn't change my selfish needs. And with endless love from you, I took for granted everything, and I deserve to be alone here with me. After all I've done, do you love me now? Do you love me now? After all I've said, running through your head, do you love me now? Do you love me now?
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everybody, welcome back. Let's kick it over to my good friend CQ for his incredible interview with the legendary Greg Grunberg. Hey everybody, welcome back to Pop Culture Warrior. I am your host CQ, and today's guest is as versatile as an actor as anyone. I mean, whose career spans over 2 decades, featuring a variety of memorable roles across both television and film. You may recognize him as the telepathic police officer Matt Parkman from the hit NBC series Heroes we all love. Perhaps you recognize him as the endearing CIA agent Eric West from Alias. He's also known for his portrayal of Snap Wexley in Star Wars. I mean, this he's been in every franchise there is known to man at this point. What hasn't he done? Additionally, you know, our guest has enjoyed a fruitful collaboration with his childhood friend J.J. Abrams, name drop, appearing in multiple of his projects such as Star Trek and Mission Impossible, Super 8. But beyond his on-screen achievements, he's a dedicated advocate for the epilepsy awareness, inspired by his eldest son's condition. He's co-founded Talk About It, an incredible podcast and online resource for epilepsy education, featuring interviews with experts and celebrities. His efforts in the field have made a significant impact in raising awareness and fostering community support. He's also, he doesn't have enough on his plate, he's also a member of Band from TV, which is a celebrity charity cover band made up of a group of actors, musicians, and other celebrities who will all donate their time and talents to create live musical performances for audiences around the world. With a career that reflects both his talent and his heart, he's a familiar face and a beloved figure in the Hollywood community. Everyone, please welcome the incredible Greg Grunberg, everybody.
Wow! Are you kidding me? That was unbelievable. I'm firing my agent right now, and you are taking over representing me.
God, hey, I mean, let me know, man. I'm here for you.
That was unbelievable. First of all, I cannot thank you enough for having me on. Fan of the show, and also any chance that I get to reach the real heroes in the world, I jump at it. Our band was called Band from TV. Now it's called the Action Figures. And people can go to theactionfiguresband.com. Everybody on stage has an action figure from a TV show or a movie. You know, they are represented as a toy. So that's, you know, but we did a USO tour. It was a virtual tour when COVID hit, and it was hosted by Chris Jacobs. And it was just such an honor for us to play that. And we had a ton of celebrities, and it was so great. So every time you mention heroes, and I'm talking to real heroes, you know, who may be watching or listening to this, it's just, again, such an honor. And I thank every single one of them for the sacrifices that they make with their families being away from us, and everything that they're doing to keep us safe. So the least I can do is sit here and talk about my fake heroism with you and the bullshit that I do. But that intro was fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, I'm blushing now. You got me blushing over here. Oh my God. Yeah, I know. I love you. I love your work. I love everything you're in. You are as tied to like nerd pop culture as just about anybody out there. Like I said, outside of maybe like Harry Potter, there isn't a franchise you haven't directly been involved in. It's insane.
I've been so lucky, man. Yeah.
We're gonna touch on it all. First and foremost, obviously, we always talk about this first. What is your military connection?
I've got a deep military connection. My dad was in the military. He was 11th Airborne Division, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and he was a lifeguard and a chef. So the weapons he used were not as dangerous. But you know, when you see my dad in the kitchen, he can kill you. So you gotta be careful. But no, and he recants his stories, and he talks about, he's 92 years old, and you know, you and I just called him. I wanted to get it right, make sure. I knew it was 11th Airborne, but I want to make sure. And he, you know, these are the friendships and the bonds that he's made over the years. He's lost a lot of his friends, not to the war, but also, you know, but in action, but to just being old age, you know.
Yeah.
But when you go through something like that together, it's, you know, as everybody, I'm preaching to the choir here, everybody who's watching this and listening knows it's a bond that you share forever. So it's like, again, it's like, you know, I have this connection. Thank God I have great insurance now through AARP. It's all good. You know, it's all good. Thanks, Dad.
You got the USAA going for you. You got the
sorry. AARP. I'm old. Dude, I can't even remember USAA.
It's all right. It's totally okay.
That's hilarious. I love it.
I mean, I'm sure he does qualify for AARP too.
Hey, so do I.
Yeah.
Believe me. So do I. I'm getting up there.
You know, it's incredible. Shout out to your dad, man. We appreciate his service. We thank obviously everybody that serves for their service. I was an airborne man as well, so you know, I got my little airborne tattoo here.
Oh, that is awesome.
So I appreciate it, man. Airborne, rock on. You know, anyway, there were some things I'm gonna say. I don't want to upset any people watching, but you know, the airborne, they're the best. They're the best.
Airborne rules. Now,
the guys.
Here's the irony: is that my dad was in the airborne. And he gave birth to probably the worst pilot in TV and film history. I crashed the plane and Lost. I was the pilot on Lost, man. That show would have been called Hover if I didn't crash the plane.
Sure.
I went down in a ball of flames in Star Wars in episode 9. So I'm not exactly the greatest pilot. I get on a plane now, like if I'm traveling to go to a Comic-Con or whatever, like I'm doing shore leave and stuff.
Yep.
When I get on a plane, man, the pilots look and they go, "Oh, great. Oh no." I mean, honestly, I get it all the time. And it's so funny. And it's been years since I've been in, well, Star Wars wasn't that long ago, but Lost was certainly, years and years ago. And you said 2 decades. I think it's going on 3 decades now for me
true.
as an actor. And I'm doing this podcast right now. Because they have all the revisit podcasts and rewatch. So I don't know if there's any Felicity fans out there, but that was a show. That's how I started my career, was on Felicity. Again, another J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves collaboration. And I that's where I got my chops, man. I learned how to be an actor, and that was my first real gig as an actor. And so, I've been around for a long time. This is all just for men. I dye the hair, my friend. I'm doing a movie right now, and I can't have the gray. So
yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
So a little more before we dive into your just amazing career, and we are going to talk about Shore Leave because I know that's what you're here to promote, and it's awesome. Big fan of Shore Leave. Let's get to know you just a bit more outside of your given profession. Like, what do you geek out about? Like, what This is pop culture talk. So like, what's your thing?
I am sort of eclectic when it comes to this stuff. I'm a car guy. I absolutely love cars. I geek out on cars. I have affordable, I call them practically classics because they're all practical, right? I've got a 77 F-250. Love that truck. Love it. I've got a car from Alias. I don't know if you guys remember, but Alias, Bradley Cooper was on Alias, which people are like, he was? Oh yeah. And his character, Will Tippin, drove a 69 Bronco. I bought that Bronco from the show when the show went down. And back then I bought it for like under $4,000. It was like nothing. But those Broncos, that original Broncos, and I've babied it. Love it. I have a 96 Bronco, an OJ Bronco,
nice.
that I drive on the daily. I love that thing. So I'm a car guy through and through. And I'm doing a show right now called Duster, because the main character, Josh Holloway from Lost, stars as a guy who is driving for the mob. This is a show that I'm doing with JJ. I'm back in the nest. We're working together again, and it's for HBO Max, and it's Rachel Hilson and Keith David and Corbin Burnson and me, and I play the head of the FBI, and Josh drives for the mob, so we call him Duster because that's the car that he drives. So I'm working on the dream of all projects right now for myself, because I get to set and I'm like, look at these. That's a Maverick, and that's a this, and that's a that, and I can't get enough of them. And they were the everyday cars. Like, they're not the expensive stuff,
right?
I got my 77 Ford truck. I think I paid $3,000 for. I mean, these are going up now in value for sure. But I love a car that you can get in, drive, beat up. If you don't have to worry about where you park it or whatever. These cars are meant to be driven. I guess if I had the money, I would have something super expensive, but I just don't. I can't see it. I can't do it, but I geek out about that. Game shows. I'm a big game show guy. Love game shows. I'm on a game show right now called 25 Words or Less as a celebrity contestant. And what am I? The TV shows. It's so funny. I watch stupid stuff. I watch stuff that's just mindless. I love any food show. I love any. Sure. It just, I don't know if it's like right now in the way the world is with so much stuff going on in the world, it's like, I just want to veg out. I don't want to have to think too hard. I am watching, what am I watching right now? My wife turned me on to, what am I watching? I mean, now I'm watching a lot of Felicity to for the podcast, but
of course.
It's not called Butterfly. It's called, what is it called? I forgot what it's called, but it's an amazing show. There's so much out there. What are you watching? That's what I want to know. Right now, what are you binging?
A little bit of everything. What was the most recent thing we binged? Because I get to do a lot of this stuff and interviews, so a lot of times I get screeners for different shows. There's the one with Lena Headey. What was it called? Beacon 23. So I got, it's a sci-fi show. They're like, it's like a lighthouse, but in space. So it's a beacon for space
So
travel.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So,
dude, there's a buddy of mine named Larry Trilling. He's a great showrunner, really good friend of mine. We did a movie. He worked on everything I've been on. He was like showrunner or a director on Felicity and then Alias and blah blah blah. Anyway, he is now running a show called Monarch that's on Apple.
Yes, Legacy
I mean,
of
here's the
Monsters.
show.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's like it looks like, I haven't seen it yet, but it's already going into season 2. He's going to be running season 2, but it looks like it's The Walking Dead, but instead of surviving zombies, you're surviving King Kong and what's the
all
other
the monsters. So it's King Kong. It is Godzilla. It is all Mothra. All the big monster movie guys. All
how cool is
up.
that? But there's no lighthouse in space, dude. Okay, so they got that beat.
I'm just telling you. Okay, so real quick, Shore Leave is coming up. It's July 26th through 28th. Is this your first time at Shore Leave? Will this be your first one?
It's my first time at Shore Leave, and they're doing a little bit of a Star Wars thing. So they've got me there. And anytime I can connect with the Star Trek or Star Wars community, by the way, that's another weird thing about me, thanks to JJ. I've been in both of those canons, and it's, I was Commander Finnegan, and I was evil stepdad, Kirk's evil stepdad in the Star Trek movies. But in Beyond, I was Commander Finnegan, and that was awesome. And then JJ, said, "Hey, you want to come to London and we're shooting Star Wars?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he made me an X-wing pilot, Snap Wexley. So it's just anytime I get to go to something like Shore Leave, it's just the best. I get to geek out with other people. Because I walk the floor just like anybody else. I meet my fellow actors that I have never met before, or hopefully it's a reunion for some of them that I've worked with before. But it's just it's honor. It's just a fun time, and Shore Leave does it right. I mean, they've been doing it for a while, so it's really a cool thing. I do Comic-Cons all over the world, especially with my band. If the action figures don't play Comic-Cons, there's a problem. It's just a blast. It's just a really a blast.
Yeah. And Shore Leave, fortunately in the position I am, I get to do a lot of these events, Awesome Con in DC and
I've done that.
Fan Expo in Philadelphia, New York Comic-Con, all the big stuff. Shore Leave really, and I'm not saying this just because, you're going to talk about it, but it really is special. It's different than all the other conventions. It's a little smaller, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a little more intimate. It's a little more get to know you. There's a lot less. I don't want to say it's an older crowd, but it's people that they're fans of the original stuff, right? The older stuff, and not necessarily just like, oh, I saw that movie last week. It's people that are passionate. It's an incredible group of people. I think you're gonna love it. I really think you're gonna love it.
I can't wait. I really can't.
It's not, I know if you've been to New York Comic-Con, the hustle and bustle,
San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con. I like the smaller ones. I mean, there's really no smaller ones, like you say. They're still big crowds.
Sure.
But you're able to spend a little bit more time, have a little bit more of a conversation. Yeah. It's not just like photo ops. You're not just standing there like a cardboard cutout going chink next, chink next. It's like I can at least say hello and talk to people. I think I'm doing a panel, and I think I'm judging the the cosplay contest, or so it's gonna be a blast. I can't wait.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. And it recently moved it used to be just outside of Baltimore in Hunt Valley, Maryland. It is moving to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which I think benefits the convention because the people that loved it where it was are going to travel. It's only maybe in less than an hour from where it used to be. So they're going to travel to it. And now it's opening it up to a whole new audience and a whole new geographic area that can come out and support as well. So I think
I'm hoping, by the way, I played Scott Paterno in the movie Paterno. And Scott actually, I believe, how far is Hershey from Lancaster?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's close, but it's driving distance. It's within driving distance.
All right. So Scott, get your ass off the couch, get in your car and drive over. Okay. Your dad, Mr. Paterno himself, would be very proud. I still, Scott and I have a bond. We have a friendship, and, Al Pacino portrayed his father on this HBO movie that we did. And it was just amazing, but we have become friends on social media, and he's a wonderful guy, really smart guy. And so anyway, this is the one that I'm like, dude, get there. I need a hug. Paterno to Paterno.
We're going to blast this all over social media. We're going to tag him. We're going to post it. We're going to force
awesome.
him out. We're gonna force them out, smoke them out for you. Let me ask you, since we're on the topic of conventions, like you said, you travel all around the world and you do these. Excuse me. What is it about these conventions that like matter to you the most? What is it that speaks to you about doing these conventions?
I think the community is really, and I know that's a real general term, but there is a community, there's an understanding. It's a lot like the epilepsy community, in that there's a shorthand, like you don't have to. And I think the stigma attached to Comic Cons, remember years ago, it was like, what? A bunch of people getting together, dressing up and
nerd.
Yeah, nerd. And it's like, now it's a badge of honor. And I like I said, I walk the floor. I love seeing what's out there. I love meeting the artists if they have an artists, row or whatever. And I'm just as imagine you were in my position, and JJ feels the same way about this, even though he, wrote, produced, directed Star Wars. We were both in London. We're at Pinewood Studios. We're on the set. I'm standing in the Millennium Falcon going, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I couldn't believe it. All of a sudden, 12-year-old Greg Grunberg standing there going, what is going on? And then, just to give you an idea of like how it touches everyone, Bob Iger, the head of Disney, shows up to say hello to people or whatever. And he is like, to Anthony Daniels, he's like, hey, do you mind? Can I take a selfie with you? Like, what? You're paying us, dude. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. It's just, there's something magical about that bond and bringing back memories. Star Wars for me, and a lot of this stuff, Star Trek, Star Wars, it was the first time, Star Wars in particular, was the first time that I left a theater thinking about where those characters had come from, where they're headed, thinking about other, how characters that didn't relate in the movie actually relate, and what would happen if, and it kind of spurred my imagination in ways that other films didn't. Other films stuck with me. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like when I saw The Warriors, I wanted to come out of the theater and kick someone's ass. But at the same time, it didn't stick with me. I wasn't like, what's the history of gangs in New York and blah, blah. But Star Wars, I mean, George Lucas, absolute genius, saw something and was able to bring it to life and make it so vivid, make it so real. And that's what you get when you go to something like Shore Leave. You're walking around with like-minded people. And also, by the way, being someone who is a character or whatever, having people come up to me and have conversations with me, that's the one place that I get a little lost. Like somebody comes up and goes, your mom was a great pilot. And I'm like, my mom. Oh, Nora. Yeah, she was. And if I know the books a little bit, but they know way more than I do. But a lot of times they expect me to know more. And it's just wonderful. And there's no judging. Years ago, I think it was in Germany, I was asked to host this panel for Bill Shatner. And I'd never met him, and he was really gracious and nice. And Will Wheaton was there, and Will was like, just ask him a question and get out of the way. Like, he's so smart, he'll just not ramble, but he'll just talk on whatever. And that's what I did. But I was so nervous, and I asked LeVar, and I asked Will, and Brent Spiner's a good friend, and I said, I don't know enough about Star Trek. I feel like I'm going to get just annihilated out there. They're going to see through it. And he goes, don't pretend to know anything more than you do. That's the other thing. All these conventions, and I imagine Shore Leave as well, there's no judgment. It's the biggest no judgment zone. And you see people, as a special needs dad and as a caregiver, luckily my son's doing well, and it's epilepsy is kind of an invisible thing. You don't really see it until you have a seizure, and he's been, knock wood, he's been doing great for years and years. And there's plenty of wood here. I'm just knocking all over the place. You go to like these conventions, and there's people in wheelchairs, and there's people it's like everybody's on an equal playing field. We all love the stuff that we're there to discuss and see and meet, and it's just awesome, man. Where else can you do that? Even a car show. I go to a car show, and it's like, oh, there's the Porsche guys over there and the Ferrari guys over there, and I'm like, where are my beat up old Ford truck guys? It's it kind of is separated, but not at a convention. Everybody appreciates everything. And if I see someone dressed, I'm like, what the hell are you? Who are you? And they're like, oh, this is the show that's on, blah, blah, or this is an anime thing that I didn't. And I learn about stuff, and then I go back and I watch it,
That's awesome. Hey, you're doing it right. You're living the dream, man. Absolutely. No, I totally get where you're coming from. As a veteran, you know, I struggle with PTSD and I have a severe social anxiety, and crowds can really toss me. For some reason, at a convention, always calm as a cucumber. Like I am where I belong. I am so comfortable, never not at ease. It's a wild experience.
Yeah.
So it's you feel home, you know.
Yeah, you do feel home. And don't you think there's a real shorthand that you have with other people? You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, there again, I'm sure you get it too. You're like, what is that? What is she doing? What is he doing? You know, whatever. But at the same time, you go up to him and you're like, hey, what are you doing? Like, this is really cool. You know, tell me more about what you're doing, which I love.
It's so good, and you know, and then there's the creativity aspect of it, where you're like, I'm gonna take the Mandalorian and cross him with Spider-Man, and it's the Spider-Lorian, and like just completely new things, and the creativity and the camaraderie. It reminds me of being in that military unit where everybody just wants to support each other and have each other's back and one up each other in that healthy way, you know.
Let me ask you. I'm going to ask you on air on the show if you'll be a guest on Talk About It, because we're doing a PTSD episode, and I want to have a roundtable of like, and maybe you can help, a roundtable of like, you know, you and like maybe two other people that are, you know, in the military, and just talking about the struggles and what they've had success with, and you know, because it's all about, I mean, that's why the podcast is called Talk About It. If you see the hat behind me, talking about it is the first way that you can really learn understanding, you know, have an understanding for what other people are going through, but also to know that you're not alone. I mean, unfortunately, PTSD is so widespread. It affects so many people. You are not in the minority, dude. And you know, and the least that all of us can do is understand, and a lot of time people just don't get it. They just don't get it. And it's something we need to talk more about. So that's a yes.
I mean, I'll have to check with my agent, and I mean, there's like a retainer fee, right? I get a trailer, and there's like
of course.
Okay.
And every time I say PTSD, you get a check. Yeah, you will get a residual. The residual, as opposed to the residual effect of PTSD that you've been dealing with. This is actually a monetary residual.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's like the VA. I'll get 10% for every time you say
exactly.
Every time you say PTSD. No, absolutely. I'd love to. In fact, this is completely off track now, but
there's no off track. I'm here. Let's go.
I love it. One of my greatest achievements of all the things I've ever done was I was once asked to speak at it was like a first grade, second grade Veterans Day kind of an event, and they just wanted a local hero, warrior, whatever. And I went, and I was like, all right, I was in the Army, blah, blah, blah. And then I got the question, can you explain what PTSD is? And I'm like, these are all 5 and 6 year olds. And I'm like, how do I explain that to a child? And it was very in the moment. I just tried to be honest and open in a safe way. And I got a letter from the teacher who said the kids were blown away. They loved you. I still have the letter from the teacher. And she's like, that was the most locked in I've ever seen my kids. They were so curious and asked questions, and they loved your honesty and this and this. And I'm like, I was just winging it, but
how great is that? And by the way, if you can explain it to 5-year-olds, that's I don't know if you're a fan of The Office, but remember Michael's like, you know, tell it to me at a 11-year-old level, and then they do, and he goes, tell it to me at a 4-year-old level. Well, if you do the show, this is what's waiting for you. I mean, this is worth it right there.
I mean, yeah.
And this is the website. Talk about it on video.com. And it's a video and audio podcast. But if you can help 5-year-olds, then you can help our audience understand, you know, what so many are going through, and that it's not unusual, and it's nothing to stigmatize. It's nothing to, you know, stop and stare at somebody if they're in a wheelchair. That's the other thing, is like the compassion that all my kids have felt for wounded warriors and for anybody look, everybody's got something. That's the other thing. Everybody's got something. And if they say they don't, they're lying. They're absolutely lying. Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to make it happen.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime. But let's talk about you while I have you.
Enough about me.
About you. I was looking. I did my homework. Your career is so awesome, and I just everything. I was like, oh my god, I remember this, and oh my god, I remember this. And, I was looking through, and I found an early credited role in the 1998 basketball movie. I mean, I want to talk. How do you, that's a big first get. What? Give us the background on that one.
Well, that's the early days of my career and just struggling, and I go in and they're looking for somebody to be a New Jersey informant. So for people that don't know, check out the movie. It's called Basketball. Matt and Trey, who do South Park. I mean, it's such a funny movie. It's a cult classic. Like beyond, I did 2 cult classics. Like I did Malibu's Most Wanted, and I did Basketball. But Basketball, people come up to me at Comic-Cons and they go, "Hey, do you have a picture from Basketball?" And I'm like, "What? Really? I had such a small part." But remember, my hair was. I was like this total Goomba guy, and I'm trying to shoot a ball, and he takes foil and he chews on foil, and I'm like, ugh. But I was a New Jersey informant with the chain and the working with those guys. I remember the first day of work, and the Abrams, Zucker Abrams crowd, or Jim Abrams, I think. Did he direct it or Jim Zucker? Anyway, legends, right? And I get to set, and the first take. And I literally pull, I think it was Matt, up to the side, and I go, "Okay, I'm a huge fan of you guys. You're the worst actors I have ever worked with ever." And he laughed, and it was because it was like this style. It's a different style of acting, and it's a little bit of a wink, wink to the audience. But man, does it work? I mean, that movie is hilarious. It's so funny.
Yeah,
so funny.
I think they're the only kind of guys that can pull it off. I really, there are no. How long has South Park been on the air, and their style of comedy and
oh yeah, but look at Book of Mormon, look at what is it, Captain America? No, America.
Team America, World
Team
Police.
America. Yeah, come on. I mean, they send it all up, and they do it in such an amazing way. They're so talented, those guys.
So good. But it's just funny to me that even early in your career, you're like, you're the worst actors.
I was like, what's going on? I mean, they were so sweet and so great. I just remember going, God, you guys are horrible actors. It was really funny.
Just because, again, I want to keep you on time here, so we're gonna jump highlight to highlight. Felicity. I mean, obviously, we talked about your
Felicity. Felicity is this show on the WB, and that's where I came up as an actor. I really and JJ and Matt created a show about a girl who goes to college. It's like, what? They wrote a beautiful show, and we're doing a podcast right now called Dear Felicity, because on the show she would talk into a tape recorder and go, "Dear Sally," and she would send notes to Janine Garofalo, was the voice of Sally, and so now it's Dear Felicity, and we're talking about the show that we all loved, and it's interesting because I was doing that show and The Hollow Man at the same time. And I don't know if you remember The Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon and me and Josh Brolin and
terrified me as a child.
Oh yeah, I mean it totally. But that was a busy year. That third season, it was crazy, and so I got a taste of like a really subtle, very naturalistic style of acting. And then The Hollow Man, where I'm working with an invisible Kevin Bacon, who's naked half the time, just walking around with his bacon hanging out, so anyway, just awesome. Crazy, man. So that was an interesting time. And then right from that, the last year of Felicity, I did the first year of Alias, both JJ shows. And JJ's like, "You're my lucky charm." I mean, he's the best friend anybody could ever have outside of work. Outside of work, like everybody's like, "God, you're so lucky." No one has any idea how lucky I am to have him as a friend. He's really a true brother of mine, and he's just the best. But I did Alias, so I played Agent Weiss. The last year that I was doing Felicity, I finished my scenes here, walking into the next stage. They were right next to each other, and I would shoot Alias, which was crazy. And then after Alias, I did a bunch of pilots and some shows, and then I got this big show, Heroes. I mean, that was my big show at NBC, and I had no idea. I thought I had reached like that people were just starting to recognize me and not know my name, but they'd be like, "Oh, you're the guy from
you're that guy."
Yeah. And then suddenly Heroes was the #1 show all over the world, and I played Matt Parkman, the mind-reading police officer, and it was just game over, man. It was like all of a sudden we're going to Japan, and I'm going to here and there, and I got a taste of the amazing stuff that everybody in the military gets to see, just that the world there's a lot of the world out there that a lot of people don't get to see, and it opens your eyes to different cultures and different people and everything. And it was enlightening, and it was awesome. It was like that 4 years on Heroes was just incredible. Yeah. So
I can't imagine how. I'm just out of curiosity from behind the scenes, you book the gig, you get Heroes. How far into it do you maybe get the sense of like, oh wait, this might be something, or was it not until it actually hit that you realized it?
Yeah, I mean, other shows, it's week to week. Like you go, oh, we got picked up for 22 episodes, but it's like, okay, great. And that was back in the day. Now it's 8 episodes, right? But 22 episodes, and you're like, oh, I'm really excited about this. But then every week it's like, how did we do last night? I don't know. What were the ratings? This was the first time that I was like, okay, they're not canceling this. Like we at least have another season, because it was on a rocket. That first season of Heroes was incredible. And I look at it, and like The Boys to me is sort of that now. The Boys is incredible. If you're watching this and you haven't seen The Boys, you have to watch The Boys. The Boys is what Heroes could have become, if we went down this fucking dirty, disgusting rabbit hole. It's so gritty, and it's superheroes that take advantage of their position, and they're power hungry and all. It is so great. And I actually had a cameo in The Boys, which was really cool. But I mean, I knew early on, and not to the height, to the extent that it actually became what it did. But yeah, and you know what, on a show like that, and these other shows too, JJ shows, it's hard to sustain it. So you constantly get people. I get people come up to me going, "Man, the first season and a half of Heroes was awesome, and then what happened?" And I'm like, I said my lines and I stood on the X. Okay, I don't know what you're asking, the wrong guy.
Right.
But
wait, you mean you didn't choose to make it like that? Oh,
right, exactly.
Okay.
What are you talking about? Yeah,
it is. Again, a guy growing up that I was into comic books and all, like that was my thing. Well, other kids are playing sports and reading, smart books. I was into comic books. I love superheroes, and so that was one of the first times I felt like a TV show took the genre seriously. Right? Like this wasn't just, slapstick and we're going to put costumes on and we're going to fight the bad guy today. It was like, wow, this is like, in Spanish, it's like the telenovela. This is the soap opera for superheroes,
100%. And, it's interesting that you put it that way. It's really a great way of putting it, taking these superheroes seriously. What it was for Tim Kring, who created the show, talks about, he saw Spotless Mind, Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind. He saw that. And then he saw The Incredibles, and The Incredibles was like supposed to be this average everyday family that is incredible. And that really inspired, what if we all woke up, not we all, but like a few characters, whatever, woke up, and suddenly with the eclipse and at a certain moment in time, we started developing these powers. And giving a police officer the ability to read minds was awesome. Giving a cheerleader, kids think they're just indestructible anyway. Now she's indestructible. A Japanese guy who is so regimented with time can stop time. A politician can fly. And there were so many cool characters, and it was, again, I cannot believe I fell into that show at the right time, right place. And that they let me, and it's Jesse Alexander and Brian Fuller and Jeff Loeb and Joe Pekaski, and like incredible showrunner people that were on that show. And so, it's, and by the way, Tim Kring's trying to bring it back. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw, yes.
Yeah.
So first, before we talk about that, because I do want to ask about that, but the Heroes Reborn, getting to come back to the character after that hiatus, we'll call it.
Yeah.
What's that like for you when they go like, hey man, it's coming back, do you want to be in it? We got something for you. Like, how does that feel for you to go back to that character?
I mean, I'll go back to that character as many times as they want. That was one of my favorite things I've ever played. I mean, honestly, it's to be able to be in the mind. I personally, I just think it's the best hero to play. I thought Sendel's character was really interesting. Jack was certainly really interesting now as a dad. Like, Jack Coleman just played it so brilliantly playing HRG. We needed to get to 100 episodes. That's the holy grail of like going to syndication. And we had finished 88. So they said, let's come back and do 12 more. And that's why we did. They did. And I was on a show, so I couldn't do it. And so that's why I joined late.
Right.
they wanted me to be a part of it, not as big as Jack. Jack was the star of Heroes Reborn, but it was, how many can you do? And I couldn't do that many. And then I was free, and they wrote me in. I did not love where my character went, to be honest with you. I'm sort of the shoulder to cry on, the dependable guy, the guy who's, doing this for his family. Suddenly I'm killing everybody. And it's just like, it was not very Matt Parkman like, and it wasn't explained well. But again, they had new characters and so many storylines to follow. But I was just so happy to put the Matt Parkman face on again. And it's so funny. So, I have 3 boys, and they're adults, but back then they were younger. And I remember we were having dinner, and I was supposed to leave to go up to Canada and shoot. And they were like, "Dad, you haven't played this role in a long time." And I said, "Come on, it's easy, whatever." And they go, "Make the face. Can you still make the face?" And I said, "The face? This is my face." And they were like, "No, when you're, when I did this thing where I tilted my head, to listen to the thoughts." And they were like, "Can you still do it? Can you still?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so they go, "Do it." I go, "Guys, come on." And they go, "Do it." And I go, "Okay." And I do it. And my youngest, Sam, goes, "No, that's not it. No." And I was like, "What?" It was so funny. They're like, "No, you got to work on that. On the plane, work on it. But yeah, it was jumping back in was awesome. I jumped back in again. I hope Tim gets it going. It would be really fun to revisit that character for sure.
Yeah, the Variety Eye report said that it's Heroes Eclipsed is looking like it's gonna happen. As of like April, I think was the last update, and so hope maybe the idea. I think I read that it's like it takes place a couple years after Reborn, so same universe, same potential for return characters, and maybe a redemption arc for someone. I don't know. Maybe,
Let's go. I never knew why there wasn't like a TJ Hooker mind reader police officer show. Why I couldn't have been, like The Rookie. Nathan's a buddy of mine. I've done a few episodes of The Rookie, and I'm like, imagine if Nathan was a mind reading cop. It would be such a great show. I mean, it's a great show anyway, but I mean, just adding that superhero element to a normal police officer show, I think, could be amazing. So I was always hoping for a spinoff. Never happened, but there's still hope. Who knows?
Missing out. I think it didn't. Was it American Dad? Maybe did like a parody. It was like Mind Cop or something like that, where it was a cop that had mind powers or whatever. But I think it was like telepathic. Maybe, I don't know. Whatever.
By the way, so Scott Grimes, who is on the Orville, and he's the dad on Ted, and he's just incredible. He and I are in the band together. He is an action figure, just like me. And I've got Nick Marzak, who's our musical director, who's a incredible musician. I want to give him a plug right now. If you love like John Mayer type, but gritty, and like he's so good, and he's got albums out. Nick Marzak, go check him out on Spotify or wherever you get your music. You will not be disappointed. He's just incredible. He plays, and we've got Adrian Pazdar from Heroes is in the band, and Bob Guinea. And I started the band, years and years ago with Hugh Laurie, who still threatens. Dan Fogler plays with us. Jorge Garcia plays with us. Sarah Wayne Callies plays with us. Now Amy Jo Johnson plays with us, the Pink Power Ranger. She was on Felicity with me. So I don't let anybody go. Like, I'm like, if you're musical, if you can shake a tambourine, get your ass up on stage. Let's go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean,
theactionfiguresband.com, by the way. Go to the website. Check it out.
There it is. We got to get the plug. You got to get the solid plug in there. Okay, yeah. We're running short on time, and you have so much career. We don't have enough time.
We've hit on a lot of stuff. You want to talk about it? I'd love to talk about the charity thing a little bit more.
Absolutely, please. That was literally my next thing after. Well, it was Star Wars a little bit, but no, I'm really fascinated about the work that you do, and I think it's important to talk about.
Yeah, so as of late, our oldest son Jake has epilepsy, and he is doing well. He's living well with it, thanks to great medication and treatment and everything. But there are a lot of people that don't, and a lot of people, it's a stigma attached to seizures. A lot of wounded warriors, a lot of people come back from the military, and they have seizures to deal with because of head trauma or whatever. And it's nothing to be scared of if you know what to do. It can be deadly, and it can obviously really hurt someone if they're driving, if they're on a bicycle, if they're swimming or whatever. But there's a lot to learn, a lot to talk about in that world. And so I created talkaboutit.org and talk about it on video.com, and this podcast that I have called Talk About It. And we do just that. We talk to, heroes in the world of, neurology and epileptologists and caregivers. And I have a series called the Caregiver Series on YouTube, but you can just go to thecaregiverseries.com, where I talk to other fellow caregivers, and we talk about family. We talk about what's important to us. And yeah, we touch on their, the rare epilepsies or the seizure disorder that they have, but it's all about just, that shorthand that we were discussing earlier, where you sit down with another person that has PTSD, or I sit down with another person whose child has epilepsy. And it's like, it's a breath of fresh air. You feel the hug before you get it. You're just like, man, this is awesome. And we should be able to have this open dialogue. So that's been my mission, is to educate and remove the stigma attached to epilepsy. But there's so many celebrities I've enlisted help of. And so I encourage anybody to just listen to the podcast, go to talkaboutvideo.com or just go to Talk About It with Greg Grunberg, on wherever you get your podcasts, and check it out. And I appreciate you letting me talk about it, because it's important.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And we're going to link it all. We're going to put links and all the stuff to all the stuff we post out there, because it is important. It is important to have that conversation.
Yeah.
The biggest part of my recovery, my mental recovery, because I was shot up in combat. I've got all the scars and all that.
Wow.
The physical stuff's not. I'm missing that. The physical stuff you recover from surprisingly easily. It's the mental stuff that takes forever to really, like, you have to make it a focal point. Your body physically heals with the right medicines and things, but the mind, man, it is like, you got to work it. You got to really work it. And speaking of talking about it, one of the biggest parts of my mental journey to recovery, was I joined a support group for veterans and talked about it and just put it out there. And it was so vital to overcoming what I was dealing, and then also seeing how my story was impacting others. And then hearing their stories and letting it impact me, and that transfer of information is very therapeutic. It's very healthy and healing.
But even not in a that's the best to have a group that you can be with. But to start a conversation just in everyday life, like, let me ask you about your hand. Like my dad he's missing his pinky, but he was born this way, so he has just this, and no, people don't see it. And it's like a bar bet. He'll be like, I can count to 9 on my fingers, and that's all I can. And they're like, whatever, and he does it, and they're like, what? Yeah. To you, like, how many times you get people going, hey, how did that happen? Or why aren't you able to flip me off? Or, I mean, like, that's a conversation starter, by the way, that is, and you don't notice it until you stare and look at it, but it's a great way to just educate. Not that you want to go around educating people all over the place, but what a great way for, like, kids or anybody to say, oh, how did that happen? And then that's a way to start the dialogue, right?
The truth behind your question is, which I don't know how this became an interview of me, but it's fine.
Because I'm interested in you.
The truth behind it is I was wounded in 2005. So oh my God, how long has it been? Jesus Christ. It feels like yesterday. It's almost 20 years. Twice someone has been like, hey, what happened to your finger? That's it. Now, whether they notice it and don't want to say something, I just think most people don't notice. You don't focus on something.
You don't notice it. You don't notice it.
I do stand-up comedy on the side, and I have a whole bit about my hands, and it's a great way. People always say, like, oh, it's so fun that we get to laugh at your disability, because it's like it's a great way to it's an icebreaker, like you said. By
the way, if you don't deal with some of this stuff with humor,
you have to.
And I'm not belittling anything, but in our house, like, you say, Jake, what do you want for dinner? He goes, I definitely want Caesar salad. And I'm like, okay, dude, you've used that joke for 15 years, but we have to, dude. It's like, you'll lose your mind. You'll lose your mind as a caregiver, and by the way, there are so many, as in the epilepsy world, there's so many moments that are out of your control. There are so many moments when you're like, what is happening to me? I can imagine with you. I mean, I've had panic attacks, and it's like, what? I can't, like, I thought I was super calm. Like, what is going on with me right now? What's happening? And you can't control it. And it's natural, and it happens to everybody. But the more you're able to be open and honest and talk about stuff, not even honest, it's like, the more I think we all understand each other. We talked about this before, but just having that open dialogue, dude, it helps me. Why do I do Talk About It? right? Why do I talk about it? It's therapeutic for me. People are like, God, you're really helping the epilepsy community. And it's like, okay, yeah, great. Guess who gets most out of this? Me. Because it's something I can control. I can't control when my son has a seizure. I can't. And I feel helpless and I feel alone and I feel lonely. And my wife and I are just like, but man, when I'm doing and I'm affecting people, hopefully I'm helping. It's me honestly just going, fuck seizures. I hate them. I absolutely hate them. And, it's a way for me to be proactive, in other words.
I 100% everything you said, and that's how I feel about my disability, because I nerve damage and bone damage and all types of skeletal issues and all that. But again, the PTSD, the TBI, the social anxiety, it's something you have to deal with. But having that group, which it's not even a therapeutic group now, it's just a bunch of guys that we get together and we just share stories and we talk about what's going on in our lives. But the idea of that community. And
I have a question. When and how did you lose your sense of humor? How did that happen?
You know what? I can tell you the day it happened.
Yeah, exactly. But isn't it great, by the way? So there was a friend of mine who wrote a pilot, and it was called Special or something, and it was all about special needs parents. And I know enough special needs parents that are actors. So I got a group together, and we all sat here, and man, we were making so many jokes. Mm-hmm. We were fucking around so much, and it's such a relief. Yes. And I hate eggshells, dude. Eggshells are the bane of my existence. When somebody is like, like you see me joking with you, I know I'm not going to hurt your feelings. Right. I know that we can talk about this stuff. It's like, I don't, do I know? No, I want to understand more about PTSD, and we're going to sit around here, but hopefully we can get some people and think about this. Get some people that, I want to definitely a strong female, funny person who we can actually just shoot the shit about it. Absolutely. And make it normal to talk about, that's what it's 100%. All about.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Later, I'll tell you about the goat incident and how I lost this, but that's a whole other thing.
Tom Brady took your finger? That's crazy, dude.
Nice.
That is crazy.
And that's it. And so many people talk about the dark humor in the military, and it's really just the look, man, we're in the shit, and I can either cry about it or I can laugh about it. And it's more efficient to put my energy into laughing about it and having that dark humor about it. Than
you saw Hurt Locker? Did you see Hurt Locker?
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, when he's standing there in the cereal aisle, that to me said everything. Like, how do you go from, and especially, dude, I can't even imagine when you're, it's life and death every second, right? You're just like, anything could happen at any second. You don't know who to trust. You're in a country where anybody can pull out a gun and kill you. A bomb can go off. You could step on a mine, whatever. And then you got to come home and you're dealing with some complete narcissistic bullshit person in line in front of you at the supermarket. And it's like, wait a minute. Do you understand what life is really about? That's the thing. You talked about being in the military and being in a unit and trusting your brothers and sisters and going, I put my life in their hands and I trust them. I'm comparing, but I'm not comparing. My two boys, college baseball players, right? Sure. And my son graduated, he played 4 years. And when you're in a sport, these are the two things, by the way. If I had a company and I had interviews for a job and I had 10 people that come in, if somebody says they're in the military, I'm sending everybody else home. That's it. Because if you can be in the military and play by the rules, but be a leader and be there for someone else, and there's so much involved in that. It's truly, you become a whole person in that situation. And sports is, and not as realistic of a way, but in an important way, you're there. So he had a hard time, and it wasn't PTSD, but it was very similar. It was like he came out of college and he was like, I have to wake up and have a purpose. I can't wake up and not do something. He got a job, and it was a pretty shitty job that he didn't really care about. It was a job. But even before that, it was like, enjoy, you have all the time in the world to relax. Well, guess what? He had all the time in the world to think about what he wasn't doing and to be in his own head. I mean, this is we're already on the talk about it episode that I want to talk about, but it was, and he went and saw a therapist, and he was fine. He actually got a job, or whatever, but it's that level of importance. And you see what's really important in life and in the world. And then how do you apply that? It's like, how do you continue that, satisfy that? It's, I'm not saying that it's Pitocin and it's like something that fires you up, but there's this adrenaline rush that is like all of a sudden gone. So it's interesting. I can't wait till we talk about all that.
One of the big, and we're gonna wrap it up because I do want to let you go on time. But one of the biggest things,
I have to pee, dude. I gotta pee so bad. I can't even tell you.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
I know exactly. Can I borrow your canteen?
But no, one of the biggest things that I've talked to most veterans, wounded or not, just leaving the service, the biggest thing to overcome is the loss of identity, loss of self, loss of purpose. Right.
Yes.
And having to find a way to click that over in your mind that this is my mission now. This is how I help. And it's a big part of the recovery. So,
but you know what's interesting is, and it's hard to see it when you are lost in that, what is my purpose now? But to be able to say that you have a purpose, you can identify having a purpose. That's a gift, dude. I'm sorry. That's a gift. Most people, I really will say, most people go through life and they just don't have a purpose. Yeah, and they leave this earth, and hopefully after, in their 90s or whatever, and it's like you say, well, tell me about that person. If they can't tell you about that person with an elevator pitch about them, like, man, he really cared about other people, or God, he was hilarious, or man, she really did good here, or she was the friend of the. What are you doing? Yep. What are you doing? So it is a gift to be able to say, I was in the military and I had a purpose. I actually made a difference. I did something. And then I understand, just try and find something at that same level as a civvy. Good luck.
Yeah. Everything you said, I agree with it. I just want to give you a hug.
Dude, let's do it. Come on here. Here we go. Oh, hug about it. Hug about it.
Well, I will see you at shore leave because I will be there. So that's going to happen. And I have a gift for you. It's somewhere sitting around here, but I have a gift for you, and we'll swap for sure.
Okay, yeah. Since I'm gonna see you, I'm not gonna mail this to you. I'll bring it.
Yes,
okay,
it'd be better that way. A hand swap. But I'll give you the last couple seconds here, man. We've held you longer than I should have, but what a great conversation. Absolutely phenomenal conversation.
Dude, you're the best.
We got to have you back on in the future. Later on, we'll do the deep dive into the career and really dig in.
Or anytime, even if you were like, you know what, this thing just dropped on, I want to know what Greg thinks about it. Even if it's a little quick thing, dude, I'm here for you. I really love talking to you. And I love reaching the obviously the pop culture world. So and the military thing, forget about it. I'm all about that. But honestly, like even if you're like, we're gonna cover the latest, Monarch or whatever, just prep me, and I'll come on and do a little segment for you. I'd love it, love it, love it, love it, dude. You're amazing.
Careful what you ask for, man.
I'm not kidding, dude. Come on.
I've got a great friend, Vanessa Marshall, who's a voice actress who does voices. She is Hera in Star Wars Rebels and a bunch of other things. Yeah. And she made an offer once. I went, be careful what you wish, because I have no shame. I was infantry. I'm used to jumping in front of bullets. I got no shame.
I get it. No, I'm there, dude.
Absolutely love it. I'll give you the last couple seconds here. Promote anything you want to promote, and then say goodbye to the audience, and I'll end it here.
I want to take this last opportunity to talk to anybody in the military that's watching or listening to this right now. I don't give a shit what you got in your head right now. I don't care about what it is. Don't hold it inside. Talk about it. You want to get better. You want to understand something. You want others to understand you. Please don't hold it inside. All it does is fester and get there's nothing healthy about that. And if people don't understand, that's their problem. That's why I've got Talk About It. I do it for the epilepsy community, but now we're branching out. Obviously, we're going to do an episode with you and a couple other people. But thank you to everybody, including you. Thank you so much for everything. I know it's trust me, when I hear it, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? That's the other thing, by the way. That's another conversation is when you and your wife, how do you do it? How do you do it? I'm like, what am I supposed to do? What are you talking about? So I get it. And when somebody said, but just know that when you're at an airport and you walk by and somebody says, hey, thank you for your service, they're saying it because they need to say they need to say it to feel good about themselves. And they want to actually say, I really mean it from the bottom of my heart, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to everybody else who's out there watching and listening right now.
Yeah. Oh, God bless. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, Greg Grunberg, this is not the last you've seen of him. Look
No.
for my episode when I host his show, and
Exactly. We're doing it.
This is the prequel to that show, and it's gonna be a whole thing. A universe will build, and we'll get J.J. Abrams involved, and it's a whole thing. You know.
There you go. We'll do it.
Awesome. All right, guys, we're gonna toss to a short break. More show after this. Greg Grunberg, everybody.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody, we're back. We're back. Let's bring on our good friend, Angry Elf, everybody.
Hello, 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 hello.
How awesome was Greg Grunberg?
That was awesome. That was definitely awesome.
That man, I feel like we only talked about his career for like 3 minutes, but just
he was broing out on you. He wanted to know everything about you. This was not CQ interviews Greg. It was Greg interviewing CQ.
Look at me, I'm blushing.
Yeah, you were like you were at the beginning. Like, dude.
How awesome is he though? How awesome.
You need to go let Mrs. Pop Culture Warrior know that she's got competition. And he's a sugar daddy.
I mean, you heard him offer to come on and do segments. I mean, this might now be the Greg bubble. I mean,
yeah,
you guys might be out of a job.
I mean, that's fine. The one that's going to be really butthurt is Mad Mike. You know?
Oh man. And let me tell you something. For those that think, and even it's myself, where you're like, it's all fine and dandy to say that when the camera's on.
Yeah.
It's our actions off camera. That
right.
He was nicer and funnier and more heartfelt even off camera. And literally, as we ended that interview, you know, I'm like, hey man, thank you for coming on. That was awesome. You know, I really appreciate it. And he's like, hey, you know, he reminded me, he's like, hey, I'm serious. Let's link up. I want you to do my podcast. I want you to, you to help me with this and da-da-da. And I was like, yeah, no, I was like, I'll go through your people and your agent and whatever. He goes, no, he's like, give me your phone number. And so I gave him my cell phone number, and literally I just go, he's like, bing. And he's like, there you go. That's my cell. He's like, anything, just hit me up. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'm just gonna hit like, hey Greg, what's up, buddy? Like,
what's up?
And I will tell you that since we shot that, which was almost a week ago, because we shot that on Wednesday. So it's been almost a full week. Like the next day I shot him a text. I was like, hey man, just wanted to say thanks. That I really enjoyed our talk and whatever. And again, not expecting anything. And he wrote back and like, dude, we've been texting back and forth. I feel like such a nerd. Like I feel like it's such a guy crush. We've been texting back and forth. He's just so nice. And but no, like I asked him because there was some industry stuff that I wanted to ask him about, and he's doing a couple things. And I was like, hey man, I see you're involved in this. So I'm just trying to get a little information, and, business talk, shop talk and whatnot. And like even today I was like, hey, dude, today's your interview. I'm psyched for people to see it. Like, I'm super excited that people are going to get to see what I've known for a week, And he was like, oh, man, that's so awesome. And he's like, tag me in all the stuff so I can share it on my socials. So, like, he really is who he portrays. You know what I mean? Like, because there's certain people that they are who they need to be in that moment. Right. And then there's the people that just are who they are, and he is who he is, and I love that about him. And I'm very excited to see him in July when we're at shore leave, and Yeah, man. Got a new bestie.
Yeah.
Anyway, make fun of me all you want. I don't care. See, Billy says he says I'd say third greatest guest. Easily top three. Easily top three. Billy, since you're ranking, I'm curious who's one and two. I'd love to know your ranking. And everybody, let me know where you think that was where that guest interview ranked. This is the thing. I'm watching it with rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
I rewatched the interview with y'all. I was sitting here rewatching it, and I was just smiling. Like my face is red because I was smiling and laughing. And God, that's such a crush, man crush on him.
Your interview with Adam Baldwin was pretty good.
Adam Baldwin was something. That was something.
Yeah.
To this day, he's the only guest I've had to flip me off on live on air. So and in a not referencing my finger kind of way, like to actually flip me off in the interview. But yeah, so that was good. Needless to say, man, support the shit out of that guy. Fucking follow him on socials. I've been checking out his stuff this week, and he posts funny stuff and throwback clips to other stuff, and he's a good dude, and obviously very responsive, and
I gotta go find his band, the Action Figures.
The Action Figures, yeah, which I mistakenly referred to as banned from TV, which is funny because it's meant like it sounds like banned from TV, but it's meant to be like band like a band from TV, since they're all TV personalities. So this is a play on words. I loved what they did, but I guess they were probably thinking like banned from TV sounds like we're bad. And so the Action Figures, I think it was a smart move. Yeah. But I've always known them as banned from TV. I wasn't aware of the switch to Action Figures, which again makes sense and is pretty cool. Let's see. King says Vanessa is his favorite, which hard to argue. She's awesome. And Orlando Jones is his second. Yeah. That's good.
Those are some good ones.
Quality ones. What about you? What do you got, Angry Elf? Hit us with the. There's so many good ones. There's so many good ones.
Like I said, Adam Baldwin. That's one. I mean, Mother Lover. Mm-hmm. That was
Yeah. Hard to beat.
That was a good one.
I think a classic is Agent Coulson. Right,
Oh,
Clark
true.
Gregg, you can't go wrong. Louis Anderson before he passed. I mean, he was so sweet, so nice.
Yeah.
There's so many. Robert Patrick, the fucking Terminator, bro.
You've had some class acts on.
It's been good. Even Brett Bassinger, who was Stargirl. She's not the biggest, but it was a really fun conversation, and you really get to see their personality outside of the spotlight, and all the voices. Phil Lamar, dude, fucking Rob Paulson. Rob Paul, we had Pinky in the Brain,
Raphael Donatello.
You
know what you need to do?
Blessed.
You know what? You need to get to the point where you can get your own panel at a con, and then have some of your previous guests come up on stage and have a conversation with CQ, but have 6-8 of them sitting up there and just have a conversation.
Yeah, like a round table almost.
Yeah.
Or you just have a shoot the shit session. Yeah, I mean,
but have all of us fans in attendance.
David Hayter, fucking Solid Snake. Sorry, it just hit me.
David Hayter. Yeah.
David Hayter. I mean, oh man, so many good ones, man. Fuck. Like sometimes I'm like, I get down where I'm like, we're not where we want to be, and then you take a step back, and I have my little thing. Adam Baldwin. Who else? Ashley Williams, who was on How I Met Your Mother.
Yep.
I mean, fucking Thor's stunt double, Bobby Holland Hanton. Brad Williams, the comedian, the little guy comedian.
Yeah, I still
fucking-
watch his.
so
That
good.
interview turned me on to him, and in fact, I tried to convince my wife because he was in Raleigh recently, or he's coming real soon, and she just looks at me and goes, "Who?
You gotta watch.
Why?"
Watching him live is a lot of fun. It's
His
a
clips,
lot of fun.
hilarious.
It's
Listening
a
to
lot of fun.
the story he tells about how his dad used to punish him by putting him on the counter.
Carlos Alzraki, right? Reno 911, Rocco's Modern Life. I mean, dude, like the list. Dude, we had Efren Ramirez, who was Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite. Eddie McClintock. I mean,
Eddie McClintock. I got a little bit of history with Eddie.
Oof. Eddie, God bless. Colin Mockery. Whose line is it anyway? Oh my God, I forgot about all these amazing kids. The fucking Jason Narvey, who was Skull from the original Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Joe Mantegna, John Lynch. Dude, a bunch of the different Spider-Man voices. You know, Josh Keaton, Yuri Lowenthal, Lauren Tom. Creator of fucking one of our favorites is Private Murphy, right? Private Murphy's Law. Dude, so many good ones. Holy moly. I'm like looking back at our guests and just, God, Matt Letcher, the fucking Reverse Flash, Matt Eisman, American Ninja Warrior. Oh, I love that. Was a good one. I enjoyed that conversation. God, man, so many good ones. So many good ones. Tito Ortiz, that was something.
Wasn't that the one that just lasted forever?
No, Eddie was on, has the reign as the longest guest. He was on for like 2+ hours just talking about stuff. Yeah, man. So many. So many. Cheyenne Sobyan, which was the dude from what was that CW show? Legends of Tomorrow. He was the airbender on that one. Dude, so many good people. Sean Kanan, Karate Kid, fucking Cobra Kai, Amani Hakim, who's in what was it not Vision Quest, something Quest, and she was on Everybody Hates Chris.
Oh yeah.
So many people. You know who we got coming on next week? I guess this is a great segue into who's our guest next week.
Sergeant Slaughter himself.
No, better. Someone who has touched you in a very delicate.
You got my wife on. You're interviewing my wife.
That'd be funny though.
Oh God, no.
Chris Claremont.
What?
Chris Claremont, the legend behind X-Men. For all the people who don't read comics, but like you know of the X-Men, you only know of the X-Men that Chris Claremont created. You know,
yes, if you were a animated series or if you enjoyed X-Men 97, you have to thank Chris Claremont.
He is the godfather. Yes. He is the man that made the X-Men had existed before him, but he put X-Men on the spot.
Yes.
He, like what Todd McFarlane did for like Spider-Man and revolutionized the character. Chris Claremont changed the game.
Yes, he did.
X-Men. Everything that you know of X-Men today, 80s and beyond, is all traced back to Chris Claremont. And yes, we have him live right here, Pop Culture Warrior, next week, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here. And let me tell you something. We were having a conversation, me and him back before. He's like, I want you to know, I don't fucking do late interviews. He's like, I go to bed early. So the fact that he's staying up, it's that powerful. Like this means that much to him. He's like, I don't really do interviews anymore. They're a fucking waste of my time. He's like, everything you could know about me is out there. It's in books. Yeah. It's in things. He's like, I don't really do interviews. And then he goes, if I do interviews, I fucking don't do them at 9 o'clock at night. But he's like, for you,
For
I
CQ.
I will do the interview. I would do it late as fuck at 9:00 at night, because he's an East Coast guy too. So
Yeah,
it's definitely late.
Did I tell you who I met in April?
No,
Larry Hama.
Larry Hama. Why does that name sound familiar?
He wrote Wolverine for a while. He wrote all of G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, the comic book series from Marvel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to meet Larry Hama himself, and I kicked myself after the fact because I should have brought my copy of X-Men 70, or excuse me, Wolverine 75 that he wrote, post antimantium extraction via Magneto. I should have brought that and had him sign it, but no, I got a pretty badass Snake Eyes print that he signed and whatnot. But yeah, I got to meet Larry Hama.
Yeah, man.
That was awesome.
That's awesome. Yes. Oh man. So there's so much, so much. What does he say here? It said, I'm reading all the comments. Someone said, "Hey, send money. Send me money first, and then I'll send you money."
Wait. Are you a Nigerian prince?
Yes. They owe me. They way owe me. But yeah. So, needless to say, our next couple weeks are just jam packed with incredible guests. All of June is booked. Pretty much all of July is booked when I'm in town. And it's only gonna get. When I tell you, I got some people, bro. I got some people lined up. The sky's the limit. We have so much is happening. We got Shore Leave coming up in July.
Yep.
So we'll be talking to everybody there. I've got, I think the week before that, I'm in California for MGS Con. And all the incredible guests that are going to be there. It's so much. New York Comic Con's right around the corner. Dude, it's an exciting time. All I can say is an exciting time. Lots have come in for those that missed it earlier. Like I said, all this, you can't see it, but everything I'm looking at right now is all gonna change. You might notice I'm thinking as I'm thinking this out. So this camera that's here is probably gonna be over here with a slight angle. So like you can't really tell that that's a shield back there, but I think once this camera slides over and tilts a bit, you might actually be able to notice that's a shield on that back wall and not just kind of like a, I don't know, weird discus shape. But yeah, crazy amount of monitors that's going to allow me to do a lot more things and monitor a lot more things. And yeah, and then I'm going to have to stand. The desk is going to go up and down.
It's God, awesome. He's going to be moving.
It's going to be moving and grooving.
And I might be able to keep up, but when Mad Mike comes back, he's going to be confused and lost, and just going to be.
He's like, I don't like changes. So many changes.
Hey, I just got one request. If you ever get Harrison Ford, all right. You never know, right?
Sure. Okay, let's play
Mad
this
Mike
game.
Has to interview Harrison Ford because then it'd just be like.
Rubble. Jesus Christ. No. We're keeping a list of people that aren't coming on the show, and I'm pretty sure Harrison Ford's on that list.
I'll have to go check the list later. I don't. I think you're still good.
Bring up the big board. I really need to. One of these days, I'm gonna set time aside to work on graphics, and I really want to do that like Family Feud style board, and it's just gonna have celebrities that won't come on Pop Culture Warrior, and it's gonna have number 1, Keanu Reeves, number 2, Harrison Ford, and I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make that one day. I still have if you were you watching last week?
Yes.
I still have my script notes for I forgot what we were calling it, but the story of the finger that's gonna crawl its way back from the Middle East. I love it. Here are the notes. Starts off with inspired by a true story. If only he was. Oh, if only he was a thumb, he could hitchhike. That's gonna be. That's, I just love that line. Crosses paths with a toe, like a blown off toe. He'll cross paths with. Blown off finger. Journey home. I had notes of like the knuckle hair will be a beard. And the tourniquet is gonna be like a headband. So yeah, we got the beginnings, and it's a children's book. It's a children's book.
Oh, you're gonna do a children's book? I
Yes.
thought you were gonna do a movie.
No. It's a children's book. It's like if you took Apocalypse Now, and made it about a blown off finger and into a children's book. That's what I'm going for. Yeah.
WTF Nation Press
Yeah.
presents a CQ production.
That's right. There was somebody gave a great name for it. Oh, what was it? Full metacarpal, like
Full Metal Carpal.
Yeah, instead of like Full Metal Jacket, yeah. Anyway, there was great. I gotta go back into the chats because there were so many great
And the promo has to be the finger coming out of the water, like the poster for Apocalypse Now.
I was thinking of what was it? Was it 2001: A Space Odyssey? Where
Yeah.
And it's just a finger.
Yep.
Anyway, sorry, we've completely lost the thread here.
It's good. It works.
I should probably get this show back on the rails. Let's see. Where do we leave off? Do we have something else to talk about? Just kind of since we were going off of nostalgic things, I found this story. And hang with me, and we'll wrap it up after this. It's time to head back to the arena for another reboot of one of America's classics, American Gladiators. That's right. The competition series that rose to prominence in the late 80s and early 90s has found itself back in the zeitgeist on a couple different occasions because there was
it was a reboot or whatever a couple years ago, right?
There was that a couple years ago, but there was also the recent Netflix did an unauthorized documentary featuring the American Gladiators of the past. There was another documentary done by ESPN, which was like a 30 for 30 American Gladiators. And what made it a hit was obviously the physical competition. It really is kind of early roots of reality TV. It was, competition shows. Things like American Ninja Warrior, that's their roots. That's their heritage. They've paved the way for it. So apparently, according to Deadline, Amazon, again, because Amazon is just doing it all, has ordered an American Gladiator reboot for Prime Video. MGM Alternative and Amazon MGM Studios will produce American Gladiators in association with Flora John Films, the production company from American Gladiators co-creator John Ferraro, who is also an executive producer. It will pit the American Gladiators versus amateur athletes against a rotating cast of obstacles and challenges and all types of crazy stuff. Some of the classic competitions set to return in the reboot are the Gauntlet, the Hang Tough, and the Eliminator. So I think I'm ready.
Yeah, I was gonna say they should get a Wounded Warrior to participate, and
that would be a terrible idea. A bunch of broken veterans go up against.
But you know what?
Gladiators.
I could see it. The gridiron, the tenacity, the piss and vinegar.
Oh,
Go
God.
fuck yourself.
Remember, was it Spike TV did that Pros versus Joes? Do you remember that? Where they pitted like professional athletes against like everyday like guys like King, and like and they were like, look, I could take a tackle from a linebacker, and it was like,
wow. Next thing you know,
destroyed him.
intensive care tomorrow.
Like,
Waking
that's all I
up
can imagine.
2 weeks later.
Oh God. Oh Jesus. No, if I could do anything, funny enough, we've had two people, and it's burrowed into my brain. Two people that have talked on this show about the game show 25 Words or Less. We had Mary McCormick, who's an executive producer, and then we just had Greg, who's a regular on the show. I'm like, you know what? I might call in some favors and let's get 25 Words or Less, Pop Culture Warrior, CQ up on the game. Let's go. 25 Words or Less. I gotta start practicing. I'm gonna reach out to him. I'm serious.
You've got to. I mean, you've already got one game show under your belt. You need to get some more.
I'm gonna start the rotation. I gotta start going through the whatchamacallit.
See if you can get on Wheel of Fortune before Venom comes off. Pat Sajak.
Pat Sajak. Dude, speaking of game shows, last thing, they just ordered you can't really call it a reboot. What is it? A spinoff of Jeopardy called Pop Culture Jeopardy. I swear to God, this is a real thing, and it's gonna work. I think it's like teams of 3, so it's a little different than like the one-on-one, but it's like teams of 3.
Yeah.
And you have to know, they're like, you have to know everything from Pokemon to, Harry Potter to, I forget what, like there was a bunch of, like a lot of stuff where I was like, oh, I would know that. But then it was like some stuff was like, knowing, about Downton Abbey, like episodes of Downton Abbey, and like, cause it runs the the Kardashians, cause it runs the gamut of pop culture. So I was like, listen, I'm not going to be like, I fucking dominate, but I think I can do pretty good. I think I can do okay.
I mean, I usually do fairly well watching along with Jeopardy. I could do it.
Yeah. It's pop culture. I mean, this is it. There's the team of 3, CQ, Angry Elf, Mad Mike, representing Pop Culture Warrior on Pop Culture Jeopardy. I mean, it sells itself. It sells itself.
I mean, all you got to do is if we can't get on there legitimately, ask Wounded Warrior if they can send 3. They're gonna have to do Wounded Warrior eventually.
Do a Veteran Day special. Yeah. I'll call my contacts. I'll have my people call your people. We'll figure it out. But
I don't have people.
I'm your people.
Okay, I have people.
You got people. I'm your people. All righty. Well, I think we've reached the end of another fantastical episode of Pop Culture Warrior. I gotta just one more time thank my incredible guest, Greg Grunberg.
Oh yeah,
fucking legend, awesome dude. Follow his stuff, support his stuff, man. He lives it.
Yes.
He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. And yeah, we got to show him some love because he's an awesome dude. Future contributor to Pop Culture Warrior we're gonna have like the Greg Grunberg beat, like over to you, Greg.
You know what really grinds my gears?
The Grunberg grinding of gears. A gear grinder? Grunberg gear grinder? Oh, man, that would be hard to say.
Ooh, that might work.
Gear grinder. Yeah. So, and look for me on his podcast. Talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna do what his podcast says. We're gonna talk about it. Other than that, I think we're good. Oh my God, this shirt's getting like super loose on me. I've been losing some weight. And everything's like getting super loose on me. Shit. Anyway, sorry. Any final thoughts on this week in pop culture or this upcoming week of pop culture?
A certain Godzilla movie is on Netflix.
-1.
Dubbed in English.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm I just need to find the time this week so my daughter and I can sit down and watch it, because I don't think she could handle reading all the subtitles. But now that's in English.
Who's the guy that saw it before it was released and said it was going to be one of the greatest Godzilla movies ever?
Hey, I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's just now I got to go pop some popcorn and sit down.
You heard nothing but good things about it, starting with CQ from
We're
Pop
starting with
Culture
CQ,
Warrior.
yes.
When I saw
Pop Culture Warrior on
back in
Tuesday
September.
night.
Yeah, back in September, I saw it. I was at the Japanese, what was it called? The Japanese ministry. That's not the ministry. It was like the arts and something and appreciation. They have like a whole, it's a building. It's a culture appreciation thing. And at Comic-Con, they invited me out to watch an early, this is before anybody really even knew about the movie. They're like, well, we have this early screening of the next, Godzilla movie. And I was like, the one with King Kong? They're like, no. Not the American Hollywood bullshit.
No.
We mean like the real Japanese Godzilla.
Real one.
And I was like, oh, bet. And I watched it, and I was very impressed. So you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. It's very good.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Anything you want to say about Star Wars Acolyte? Because I know there's people out there that might be wanting to watch it. I'm just.
You know what? This is gonna be my moment, and I'm just
Sandbox.
gonna turn around and tell you, the showrunner Leslie Headland, she's bad people. Former executive assistant to Harvey Weinstein.
Allegedly bad people.
She wasn't allegedly his, but she was his.
Bad people, allegedly.
Yeah.
Slander.
Allegedly, she's a bad person. But the point of the matter is, I don't like her, and I'm not going to watch her stuff, and I'm just going to pretend this didn't exist, and I don't care what anybody says. You can't force me to watch it. There are only 4 lights. Thank you very much.
4 lights? Is that like a play on acolytes?
No.
I don't get it.
It's a Star Trek reference.
Oh. Nerd.
Anyways. Nerd. Oh, wait. Isn't this a safe space for nerds?
Not for you. Not for people in the bubble.
Not for me? Oh,
yeah.
I see how it is.
This area is a safe place, but this bubble is outside of the safe space.
Oh, no. Anyway. You haven't been to my alcove, my back cave.
Billy just watched Atlas. Not too bad. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not gonna let you trigger me. All right. We all know that's absolutely garbage. That's absolutely garbage. Alrighty. Anyway.
Yep.
Thank you all, as always. And Billy, I do owe you a prize.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fact. I do owe you a prize. Remind me. King, I know you liked Atlas because you like all the garbage movies out there. You also like the Fast and the Furious franchise. So that's whatever. Easy there. Don't die. Don't die on me. We need you.
I'm good.
Panel. He wants a panel light. You know what? I might hang on a second. I might actually have a panel light. So
sign it. CQ.
Sign a panel light and send it over. I've been working on that. Alrighty, guys. Anyway, did you do a giveaway today? No, I did a giveaway last week. And I'll mention this just the last time, just because up front I put up some notes, and I really want as many people to know about this as possible. New setup starting next week. It'll look slightly different to you, but it'll look majorly different to me and just operate differently. But with that, also, I've been testing out streaming vertically. So depending on where you're watching me right now, I'm either horizontal HD in places like YouTube and Facebook and other places. But on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, I should be vertical with instead of Angry Elf here, he's down here, right where he belongs. And so I'm working on that, and there'll be graphics and all types of things. So that's happening. Friday night tabletop exercise FTX is going to get a major upgrade here very shortly. Very excited for that. All new, all exciting, very cool stuff. And what else? What else did I think that's everything? Yes, lots of guests coming and giveaway. Oh, and last thing, we are finalizing a deal with a company that wants to sponsor a couple giveaways, and it's going to be really cool stuff. Like authenticated, not just autograph, but authenticated autographed movie posters, scripts, movie props, just some really, really cool stuff. And that will be obviously for the show, and then maybe some exclusive on Patreon and a bunch of other things. So very exciting. I so much cool stuff coming. Oh God, I'm so excited. I'm so very excited. Check us out on Pop Culture Jeopardy and 25 words or less and all the other things. I'm going to, as King says, I'm going to speak into existence. I'm going to put it out into the universe. It's gonna happen.
He's gonna spread his wings and fly.
Yes, this is we're only here, and we've got all the way to go to get up here. So very exciting stuff coming soon. And as always, stick with us. Let us know. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know feedback, good, bad, positive, whatever. I appreciate it all. Keep sending stuff. Interact with the stuff on social media, man. Help me reach more peoples. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Do all the shit. You know it. You know it. You know the things to do. Please, because that's how the algorithm picks us up and sends us to other people that haven't had. Like, you've had the pleasure. You out there. You watching me right there. You've had the pleasure of me. Now, no, not you, them, not you, them, you. Let other people get a chance. Like, I know you guys love getting all the free shit I give away, but let other people get a chance. That's all I'm saying. Let other people get a chance. Okay?
Think of the children.
Think of the children. All right. Enough of that. Guys, thank you as always. This has been a blast. I appreciate you. I want to thank Angry Elf for stepping in and filling in the lazy Mad Mike, who's too good to appear most nights, but I think,
he's got to sun himself sometimes.
Yeah, he's got responsibilities. I think he's just traveling. He's traveling with the family, and the summers are when they're like out and about doing stuff. So I don't blame him. It's fucking hot in Florida, man. Got to get out of there. Summertime, get the fuck out of Florida.
That's why you have a pool. You live by the beach. Then you can go soak yourself.
Too hot. It's like boiling water out there. Plus, that's when all the tourists show up and they get out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty. Guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate all y'all. Keep it locked here. Keep it tuned. I guess we got to do the thing. WTF Nation Radio all around the week. Sundays is the Sports Bar. Mondays is the Monday edition. Tuesdays right here, Pop Culture Warrior. Wednesdays, the Smoke Pit. Thursdays, Stars Time. Fridays is Friday Night Freedom. Every other Friday. And Saturdays are now weekend co-ops with Nemo as he plays some fun co-op games. So keep it tuned right here, WTF Nation Radio, U.S. Army WTF Moments, and most importantly, Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and sometimes Angry Elf. So,
yes.
Alrighty. Last words, man?
Hasta luego, mi amigos.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Shuts.
Doc! Oh, no! We're too late! We missed it! Oh, jeez, this is heavy. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Doc, I got a time machine. I'm just gonna punch in the coordinates. Pop Culture Warrior, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on W.T.F. Nation Radio. Now crank this bad boy up to 88 miles per hour.
Let's see it.